biggest one-day drop since April 2025. I think when you see this kind of weakness, sometimes we've had rotation away from the U.S. to other places. Today, the rotation is everything in tech is most of the things in tech are looking weak, especially if it's related to AI in any regard, and then things that have a bit of a moat around AI, which obviously you're talking about like your Walmarts, your Caterpillars, in there Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, like those types of names are doing much, much better, except for this, Joe Stugotz. Yeah, for some reason, G. Vernova, in a day where tech is weak, does not care. G. Vernova refuses to pull back with its brethren. I can't explain why. I love the stock and I own the stock, but it's actually puzzling me a little bit why it does not want to dip. But that's a good thing for your long-term account. If you're trying to dip by more, it's not necessarily the best thing in the world. I did grab into GME. We'll give it to 25, well, not 25, 24.88 up here is the out. I did want to add to it in the 70s. But the midday is here. It is 11 o'clock. The professor and Joey Options will be looking at some options plays, probably some metals, and certainly some small caps. We'll be back at 2, everybody. Peace. Ooh.
Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. This handsome gentleman is your boy Joey Options, and behind the screen, you can't see him, but Randy's there, and he's grilling us right now. Shout out to Randy. Why is he looking at like this? Good morning, guys. Let's say hello to everybody. Here we go. We got T-Money. Yo. We got Eliza. We got Varun. Not Arun, but Varun. We got Gorev, JL82, Durant Gordon, Mike, PD Ryder. We got Bastone, Lemon Family, Yannick, Walt Country Club. I aspire to have a country club membership one day. Oshiro, Scott J. We got Backbone Video. Shout out to Buffalo Soldier, man. We got Ashraf. Yes, I see you, Ashraf. I pronounced it properly, too. The Great, Oslam, JR, Pete, Money Van Hoof, King Clutch 007. Shout out to Pizza Gang. We got Cubis Mo and Andrew Chow. Shout out to Dalmir Lima, The Macro Bites, Stone Brokes in, oh man, something yesterday. MOTP Media. We got Wyatt. We got, who else, man? Green Day Dean. Anil Buy Low Sell High, my man. We got 95 GT 63. That's what I like to hear. Appreciate that kind of comment. What else we got, man? Trader Sniper. Who else? Tor Ben Stelling. Feno 760. Options and Deep. He says, howdy. Mr. Ducats, Sit and Spin. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, my man. Good morning, Joey.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. And howdy to everyone else here at Trader TV. Man, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. If you've been short this market, and I like a comment that somebody made yesterday, sentiment is extremely important regardless of the fundamentals, and I think that's kind of what's coming into factor within these past couple of sessions, and I think for the foreseeable future, that is going to be the case here. But nonetheless, guys, let's get right into things. Let's see what we're trading. I mean, the past couple of days, we can't complain. The end of last week, yesterday was pretty solid for us. A little bit of a slower start this morning. Full disclosure, right? We don't hide anything from you guys. That's just the nature of the beast. Let's start things off with some silver, right? Like we attempt to short on silver. We're looking for this trend line to hold right here, guys. Doesn't, it breaks. Sure enough, we get out of the trade and yeah, continue to climb a little bit higher. So you get out when you're supposed to on SLV, looking for that break of the volume weighted average price there, guys. I was actually trying to go long. I posted up at 78.60s, but we never got that pullback, and then I never pulled the trigger on that VWAP break, but that's okay. No worries about that. There's plenty of time left in the day. Moving on here, guys, let's head over to PayPal attempt number 2 for the kid. Let's see what we got going on. This one's slowly starting to work out for us. Our first attempt, once again, didn't work. Getting out what we're supposed to. Just trying to put on, so full disclosure, what I got going on here is a little bit less size, and what you've noticed over my past couple trades is that I've been holding them for significantly longer before I take any out. And that's kind of the nature of the beast in which I'm trying to work with right now. So PayPal attempt number 2. Let's see if we can break that 42.50. And I heard what the boys were saying earlier this morning. It's like, man, we're already down 18.5%. How much lower can we go? And that's starting to kind of step into my mind. Like really, really, how much lower can we go? 42 would be ideal for me, but if we don't get it, or if we fail to establish a new low right here, because I think this is going to be a key moment in PayPal, is that we're starting to find somewhat of a base, and then now we're getting a little bit of a bounce. And if we don't break 42.50, we might not see anything south of that, all right? But moving on here before we send it back over to Sharif, what am I looking at? Palantir, PayPal, silver, and the TQQs. Neil's taking attempts on this one. A lot of sideways price action, but I think we'll find a direction maybe a little bit later if it's not up already in the intraday. I just think that this gap on the this gap on the daily will get filled. We might just accumulate some before we kind of break down a little bit there. So that's what I got my eyes on, guys. The overall market, nice short by the Katina man from 55 bucks, and then filling that gap to the downside. Some excessive selling in the TQQ. SPY following as well too. Silver not doing too much. PayPal. Let's see if we can break that 42.50 level. If we can, Sharif, I think we can get to rocking and rolling.
All right, just putting in the last few small cap gappers here on the side watch list, because other than that, they don't update. But here they are. Look, the pickings are slim today, guys. The pickings are slim. With I guess the number one gapper right now, at least, NPT halted to the upside, I believe at 948. My chart isn't updating. We'll get to that one in a second. But here we go. JBDI, so that NPT one just took VWAP again. What a move into the pre-market there at 8 a.m. into $30, bleeding its own blood now. We'll get to that one in a hot second. But JBDI, I'm liking the look of this one's jib. It's got some higher lows, basically with a 125 flat top. I realize that the high of the day is $1.30. That is on a wick basis. It didn't close there. Nary a closing print above that 1.25. So to me, 1.25 is the level. Now, that's the obviously the upside news. Well, what's the other side of the equation? Well, the higher lows here are really catching my attention. So we're going to try to work something into JBDI, Jebedy. We're going to call this one Jebedy. Into VWAP, where I think that's like at 113, 114, showing me 117 right now. A break below the 1055 candle low, which is kind of that inverse bottom, well, not inverse, it's a hammer candle, the low of which was 108. So likely my stop goes in 107-ish, give or take. Let's go ahead and see if we can execute something on that now on our friend Jebedy over here, Joey. Let's see, 114 we go. Let's go ahead. Entry position over here, not letting me in. Why? Why is it not letting me in? 2 penny spread on $1 a name. Calm down, bro. Who do you think you are? All right, so we're in. Joey looks over as soon as I say, who do you think you are? All right.
I am.
Where's my man at, bro? Where is he at? Oh, that's not the one. Hold on. There he is. He's so angry. I like that about him. He's got a lot of anger.
Have you watched that thing?
I've watched the longer version. It's been a minute, though. It's been a minute. Are you a good bowler?
I have a video of me hitting a strike.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, but am I a good bowler? I'd probably say no.
No, eh?
In the grand scheme of like good bowlers, no.
Well, like
Are you all right?
I haven't bowled in years, bro. So I'm gonna say no.
Do you need the bumpers?
No, man, I don't even think I've ever used the bumpers. Neil's looking over. He's like, what the hell is happening on that side?
Crazy.
No, playing around.
Yeah.
So keeping an eye here, just worked into JBDI, into our friend Jebedy. Again, anything below that 1050 candle, 1055 candle, I'm gonzino. We're going to go ahead and throw that in now. And we're going to see exactly what the situation is. But we've got others. Let's get to them. I'm seeing Casey say GXAI. And if Casey says it, then I definitely want to be looking. Okay, and I already like it. So we're going to have to take off somebody. Fat N, Fat Pipe is being removed. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to call it by its full name, Joey. Fat Pipe is out of the equation. And in its place, GXAI. Thank you, Case, for that. Ever the reliable small cap gapper trader. So we're looking at Jebedy. I'm also looking at PDYM. This one's seen better days though. 20.25%. I like that 810 to 8 buy area. Why? 10 EMA on the 5, 810. Breakout level, $8. Psychological support, $8. PDYN $8.10 to $8 buy area. If it loses that, it loses you as a trader. You should anyway. USAR, we're going to be looking at some of these mineral names. I'm not going to be trading MP because it's like $64, but USAR fits within my price profile. So does Criminal, CRML. They're both bleeding their own blood right now, more Criminal than USAR. I like CRML at $14. Buy zone, $13.90 to $14. That is the volume weighted average price, and then the $14 whole dollar level. USAR, I want to see if here it holds up at this 25.5. It doesn't hold up 25.5. I'm looking 25. Simple as that. We're going to keep an eye out on that. Quadruple U. Definitely not a small cap gapper, recovering from the blood that it shed yesterday. Quadruple U, of course, is energy fuels. It's about $5.7 billion market cap, so not strictly a small cap gapper, but trading like one. And as you can see here, the respect for the 10 EMA on the 5 really can't be understated. Nary a closing print up below it, just simply this one here at 940, but you can basically blame that on the implied balance volatility. Since that volatility came and went above 23, it has been quite respectful of the 10 EMA. Trying to hold 24 right now. Quadruple U should be in focus. AMPX, another one over here. Not much in the way of volume on Ampex. We're talking about 7.2 million shares, which is not bad, not too bad, but the volume profile, very, very stark decline over here from that opening print, which had about 650,000 shares. And the candle prior to this one had about 43,000. So that should give you some context as to why the volume is dropping off and dropping off markedly over here. So I've mentioned those ones. GXAI, the only one that I haven't mentioned, and that's because Casey just called it out. But I'm liking this 220, this zone over here. I want to say 210 to 220. Reason being, look at all these implied, no, these aren't even implied balance high. These are 810, 815. So these are pre-market highs into about 217, 215. You get that same kind of resistance at 945, 950. You got it again at 1010, 1015, and then even again 1020, but then all hell broke loose to the high side at 1025. So it's telling me that 215, 210 zone could be a buy zone, certainly resistance. Let's see if it acts as support. So GXAI, I'm looking for a dip trade in and around there. Alas, it doesn't look like it's quite weaseling its way down there with this current, with the 1055 candle, an area low of about 218. It seems to be putting in some higher lows now. I'm talking about GXAI. If we can take out 235 would be interesting, especially because we certainly use that 235 as support. 1030, 1035, 1040, 1045. And then we broke down it at 1055. So GXI in focus. We're going to keep an eye out on that, and we're going to go to the big desk.
Let's move here on, and I'm not joking, Grindr, GRND to the upside as Business Insider reports that the company is testing a premium AI tier with prices up to, again, not joking, $499 a month. So $500 a month AI Grindr tier reportedly in the works, at least at a test level. There's also this Nvidia headline, relatively small. I did put it in the chat. I didn't mention it earlier because not too much of a move. But while we're already here, I should let you guys know Nvidia announcing here on their official X account, the Nvidia newsroom, that they're adopting Dassault's model-based systems engineering. The companies are going to be working together to build architecture for AI across industries. So again, Grindr and Nvidia, both with some AI headlines. Back to you.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. That's pretty expensive if you ask me. $499, $500 right there. What's that the one where the famous people go in? Rhea or something along those lines. You have to pay and you have to show your bank statements and stuff like that, I think, to get involved with that one. So yeah, all right, nice little move there, guys, to the downside in PayPal, touching down to approximately 19%. Once again, just holding for these moves a little bit longer, and I'm taking just small bits off. Hopefully this isn't the bottom here, but we're running into a key inflection point with PayPal. This candle wick low on volume, if that breaks, maybe we get an additional move lower, but the longer we form this base, the less I really like it, and I might have to just go with what price action is telling us, and that's take a little bit more out, all right? So far, we locked in approximately about 15%. I'm still holding on to the majority, a little bit even less than that, probably about 80% of my position still holding on to here in PayPal, looking for that move down to 42, and then hopefully we can run into 41.50s if it continues to bleed profusely. So there it is on PayPal. Nice little bit of a move there, guys. And Palantir was in my notes here this morning, right? I'm like, watch out for that gap to be filled. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I thought we're going with the side. You know, this is my favorite angle right there. I see the side one, even though you can't see anything in which I've wrote there. I'm glad that I showed you guys that one. But in all seriousness, I had the gap fill on Palantir, but it just right out of the gate, bang, just continuous selling. But it's my boy.
Who?
Adam James abroad. What's going on?
Days.
Just had my best 2 days trading in my short trading history. Off to beautiful botanical gardens for my last day in El Salvador. Thanks for all the education and help. Trader TV Live gang, God bless all you and Lego.
God bless you, bro.
No, God bless you, Adam. 20 smackers right there. I thought it would have been Canadian dollars, my friend. Hey, he knows I like to poke fun at him with that. No, thanks. And I hope you have fun at the gardens, man. Make sure you post that video so I can comment and also watch it. I like watching your adventures as well, too. I find so much of it interesting, considering I've yet to be to South America. So that's something that has to be hit off that bucket list. Once again, congratulations. 2 days in a row. That's how it typically works, though, Shreve. You have a solid day. You come back. You're in your flow state, and you're ready to just kind of.
You're in your flow.
Yeah, you're in the flow state. You're ready to kind of just pounce and execute once again and perform. So congratulations to our boy, healing pain naturally, Adam James abroad. So there it is, guys. PayPal continuing to bleed, Shreve, down to 42.27, and the volume most definitely kicking in. We are breaking through that wick low. This is exactly what we're looking for. We're not going to take anything off until 42.20. So another 7 cents or so. So we're loving what we got going on here in PayPal, sticking to the guns. And I told you guys, I think it was last week or the week before, I missed the reload opportunity or re-entry or re-engage opportunity on Rich Tech. I said, I'm going to try to avoid that regardless of what it is. And you know what's funny? What? I think one of my biggest, and this is full disclosure, I'm telling you guys, is a little bit of fear. Like, I don't want to call it fear, but sometimes I get hesitant. But I was just reading, I'm like, how do I eliminate this? And what I was doing, I was just reading up on some things. It's like, dude, at the end of the day, it can't hurt you. Like, I've been through so much, like, literal physical pain, whether it be boxing, hockey, and everything. Why am I letting some numbers on the screen that are essentially a game kind of put any kind of fear in me when I face so much already? So that's something that I've been working on, is just saying, hey, what is the worst case scenario? Nothing can really hurt you at the end of the day.
Well said, Joey. I mean, that's well articulated there, my man. And I couldn't agree more. Simple as that. All right, we're working in here to GXAI. We got a couple of beak wetters. I'm looking for this to hold prior area low. Now, mind you, it's still a risky trade. And the reason is because we're unbroken in lower highland, right? So look at this. This is an unbroken kind of sequence of lower highs as it pulls back. Now it's holding general technical areas. That's great. It's holding support. And locally, it's putting in some higher lows. I'm talking from that candle at 1055 onwards. It's got that higher low profile, but it's certainly still putting in lower highs. So be on the lookout for a possible VWAP retracement. Now, separately, I worked into quadruple U. I'm looking for quadruple U to hold the 10 EMA on the 5 and try to test that 2450. By definition, it will have to take out the high of the day, which is 2440. It's up 14 1/3%, holding technicals well, but we've seen this story before where some of the buy programs get shut off a little bit at around midday, or basically the start of our show. So we'll see if this very aggressive uptrend that was intact earlier on continues to be intact. Now, I'm also looking at AMPX because this one has a lot of respect for the 10 EMA. My only concern on AMPX was the same concern I articulated earlier on, was the declining volume, and is the declining volume profile. So I'm alive to that. Volume price action divergence very stark over here, but if it's going to continue to ascend without resistance, without the seller stepping in, then we're going to have to get involved. But those are the names that I'm looking at. I'm also keeping an eye on UAMY. A bit of a deep kind of pullback off that 929 high. Lost the 10. It's kind of a no man's land right now, at least for me, between the 10 and the 20. Let's take a gander at the 15, see how this is holding structure on the 15. I like it around 870 to 880, especially if it loses prior bar low on the 15, which is 888s, currently showing 891. So it's on the verge of losing that prior bar low. The reason I say 880 to 870 is because 10 EMA and VWAP are kind of crossing over one another right now, one pointing at one pointing at the other. So that's my focus. AMPX, UAMY, and the ones that I'm currently involved in, obviously GXAI and Quadruple U. PDYN did kind of flash on my screen there a little bit. 846 high bleeding all the way down now to the 7 mid 80s, high 80s. I like this area though. Reason is it's awfully close to the volume weighted average price, about 10 pennies or so, and it's overlapping with a very, very clear area of resistance in the pre, which was about basically the 7 3/4, and then at the high area about 790. So PDYN could be another interesting entry, especially at these prices. Let's go ahead and execute on that. PDYN, I believe it is on the NQ. And I am accurate on that. Let's go ahead. Anything below 770 ends the trade for me. So we're going to start with a small position over here. And then if it reclaims the 10 on the 5, which is above $8, about 802 right now, we're going to add to the position. But it's going to show me that it wants to hold up at these areas. So let's go ahead and throw out the stop on this monster. And we're also going to have a planned DCA right at the volume weighted average price, which is showing me 777s. You know, you point at 777s over here, Joey VWAP. We got to take the trade. So that's what we're looking at right now. Break even, actually a little bit in the money here on GXAI, but I am concerned about that trade for the reasons I articulated earlier. Quadruple U is a bit of a slow mover, still holding 24. I'm long 24.05. So let's see if this one, you know, breaks the downtrend. It is essentially since the high of the day at 24.40 on Quadruple U. The red candle 11, red candle 11.05, doji green candle 11.10, red candle 11.15, and then this candle is yellow. So we are basically open and close at the same price. So yeah, we'll see exactly what happens with that one, and we'll keep you guys updated. Zen Zombie, $2 in the chat. Turks, TIRX, say less. Good. Let's take a quick look. This is the daily. Embarrassing. All right. Yeah, not a good looking chart. Sub $1, 26 pennies. Currently trading 1 to 5 split back in September of 25. Let's flip to the 5-minute chart. Okay, good breakout intraday. 26 pennies. Not my favorite because of the price. Gets to be a bit of a thick trade down here, but I do like this 20 penny area, especially if it retraces. My first inclination is to tell you 23, just so you can pick it up off a dip trade off the 10 EMA on the 5. It loses 23 pennies. I'm looking at that flat top break at 20. Higher low, flat top break, 20 pennies, manifested at around 10.55. This is not a bad one. It's not bad at all, but we're gonna pack the patience on this one. I don't want to be quickly jumping into these sub $1 stocks, but who am I going to take off? USAR is at VWAP, by the way. Jebediee, we're going to take off Jebediee. We're going to put TIRX, and then if I want to throw back Jebediee, we'll throw back TIRX, so we'll put that one on there. Up 246%, by the way, this TIRX. Not a bad look, and thank you very much for that super chat, because especially on a day where the pickings are slim, we may be forced to trade one of these sub $1 names, Joey, but we're going to keep an eye on it.
Good stuff there, guys. All right, so you can see that I'm short on some Palantir, guys. I'm going to try to hold this into 150. I think that could be a good target on today's session. That's about $4 from where our entry is. I was risking into 55, so someone mentioned it. You already know your worst-case scenario if you just follow your stop. So that's the game plan here on Palantir. A nice move up to 42.50 in PayPal, but it looks like we're starting to come back in. We almost hit that additional target of 42.20. That was kind of what we were aiming for there. So let's go Palantir. Let's go PayPal to the short side. SoFi says VH. Yeah, let's take a look there, my friend, at SoFi. We have a couple more super chat. Oh, no, we already went over Adam James. Yeah, nice work there, brother. How long have you been trading? That's a question I have. You said short journey within trading. I'm curious to how long you've been trading. I don't think you've ever told us that. So, yeah, curious. All right, let's head over to SoFi. So long. Let's see what these guys are. People are telling me that Robinhood's been getting hit. I haven't even looked at it. I don't really want to at this point. But I think that we're in for a little bit of selling here, guys, in in the future, in the near future, just due to the fact, obviously, sentiment being a major thing and going on multiple, like, triple-digit percentage gains in a lot of these names, whether it be SoFi, Palantir, Robinhood, all of those guys that put up those substantial returns in 2025. Sure enough, we're going to see a little bit of a pullback. So Neil said that this morning, what goes up must come down, and that's just the reality of trading. But I think in the span of maybe 5, 6, 7 months, we can climb right back up, and the chances of it breaking through the all-time highs are relatively high. All right, so there it is. SoFi, guys, continuing to move a little bit lower down to 2183. If we want to take a look at the daily, it's really important to kind of correlate everything. You want to run through your time frames, but this is what we were going on about, right? So we'll pull up Palantir. I think we're just delaying the inevitable. Let's take a little bit more out there at 18s there. Sharif on PayPal, as this is slowly starting to work really nice for us, continuing to bleed. Let's go Palantir. We want to wait for 50s before we piece anything out, so we'll keep our eyes on that one. But breaking through those necklines, you're now on a multi-red day streak. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row, a little bit more than that here on SoFi to the downside. So not too good of a look there, guys. We'll head over to our friend Robinhood. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, down to 87 smackers, but neckline breaking here. I wouldn't be surprised if we run into the 60s. That would be absolutely disastrous, but that's okay. We grab a little bit more down there, sitting on a tiny bit of cash, and we're not going to complain. And it's the same thing with Palantir. I think we're just kind of delaying the inevitable at this. Fantastic numbers. We're not going to beat around that bush. Commercial revenue continuously growing, but that 144 mark, I think that's going to be a massive inflection point here on Palantir, as it is now filled almost the entirety of that gap from yesterday's earnings report, and a little bit of a gap up this morning as well too, guys. So keep an eye out on Palantir, and that's why I'm liking 50s, right? So I'm not just picking 50 out of the blue. It's just, oh yeah, 150, it's a cool number and all that stuff. But I think if we head into that wick, 151 rum right there, Sharif, heading over. Did you ever have that?
What?
151 rum?
No.
Me neither.
Assuming it's rum.
Pardon?
I'm assuming it's rum. A very strong rum.
I'm pretty sure it's like the 75 proof.
Oh, I was about to say.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
then
yeah.
I probably did have it at some point.
Okay.
I may or may not remember.
All right, 151. Maybe we look to take a little bit. 151.5. We'll take some off there on Palantir.
Here comes USAR. We're in at 25, 25.30. Beautiful, clean hold off the volume weighted average price. But let's not celebrate, because yes, it's getting a nice little bounce off VWAP, but trend still lower highs. We haven't broken that trend. To kind of break that, yeah, you could say above prior bar high, which would be 25.31, but I'm really looking for that 23.50 as a break of trend. And there goes quadruple U. We haven't even wet the beak, bro. We're at 24.05. There it is into 18s. Let's set up now at 22s. We're going to set up at 27s, and then I want to put some into the mid-30s as well. Good look here for the quadruple one. How about that PDYN crap that we got into? Well, we're doing it live on that one too, Joey. We got 87s. Here's 07 printing. All right, man. We're doing okay here. I thought we were definitely going to end up like yesterday. Looks like GXAI is crap in the bed though, so we're going to have to get out of that one. Can't win them all. And then I did get more into that though, but no, I'm not going to DCA into an oblivion. We're going to take the hit on GXAI, and we'll set up at 210, possibly a little bit lower, because that is coming into VWAP. So let's focus on the ones that are winning, and quadruple U right back into that 30 penny area. I'm looking for a little bit higher into the high 30s, but we have nothing in the 40s, so let's go ahead and wait there as well. Good look for quadruple U, and we got shares on both of them. Good look for USAR as well, man. It's continuing to go over here. Right back into that 30 area, looking for into the 40s, showing me 31. There's a 30 seller. Recall that we still have not broken the lower high trend. I'm just saying, for me, the lower high trend breaks above 50, even though we did clear prior bar high. But we've seen this story before, where you get wicked in, right? They lure you in with the break of prior bar high, only to let that one tank all the way back down. So looking at USAR, how many shares do we have left? We're going to continue to wet the beak here, because I have my suspicions with this one. So we're doing it live on all these trades right now, looking for continuation on PDYN. I'm not sure why PDYN is not updating on my side chart. Is that just the spread? PDYN, I'm just looking over here to see what the spread is on my scanner. I don't know, it's not coming up, that's fine. We'll give that one a look later. And that's it. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, PDYN, quadruple U, and USAR. But I don't think USAR is really ready quite yet to set up, because look at that. It ends up being a topping tail candle through the breach of prior bar. I'm stopping out here. We're going to take that out for profit. Now, I don't like the look of this. Let me explain why. I've seen too much. No, I'm kidding, of course. But here's the deal. So if you're looking for a prior bar high break, you never got it from the printing of that basically intraday high, which is a 1050 candle. So entertain me for a sec. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher high. This current candle lures you in. So if you're looking for prior bar break on the high, you got it. And then you got sucked in, and then all the way it goes back down. It still hasn't breached prior bar low, but it's right at the volume weighted average price. So maybe I was a little too early for this one, or maybe, you know, the people are taking profits as they get into the volume weighted average price. So, you know, shorts taking profits, of course, which is sometimes why we get a bounce off VWAP, because they're eyeing VWAP for their profit taking level. So it's not sometimes only longs waiting for VWAP to come in, but shorts who cover at VWAP, which causes the price to bounce back up, at least temporarily. So I'm not going to get lured into this. We flattened out. We're profitable on it. I'm happy about that, but we're going to look for a better setup right now on USAR before committing to this one aggressively. Now, I'm red on GXAI. It's my only loser on the day, and I'm going to be looking here for that 207, 205 area as a holdup. So you're getting that unbroken lower high trend. Now, my entry in VWAP here on GXAI is going to be small. Number one, I'm red on it. Don't want to go more red. Number two, even if it finds support at VWAP initially, just like USAR, doesn't mean it's going to break the trend. And this is very clear here, the lower high trend, that's still unbroken. So if we break that trend, then that's where I'd say to myself, this is the right area to add into the position. So I'm going to look scalp initially, 207 to 2 for a possible bounce for the reasons we just articulated, shorts covering, people getting in at VWAP. And then we're going to go small position there. And then if it breaks the lower high trend line, that's where we'll add into GXAI. If it doesn't do that, then I don't add. Simple as that. Are we going to Adara?
I think
so. All right, we're going up to the big desk.
I'll be brief here because the story for crypto, unfortunately for longs, is more of the same, and that is, again, just continuing to drop a little bit here. There was this resistance at 79,200. We looked like we could maybe break out of it as of this morning. Unfortunately, as of later in the morning, we have been unable to do so. Currently trading around 76.6. So again, that 79K level also goes back to support on during that fall on Friday, November 21st. So this has been a level of interest. Again, 79K, that 80K area as of right now going to be a key level for Bitcoin. We'll take a look at Ethereum to see how Ethereum's faring today. Fortunately, not much better than BTC, and Ethereum a little bit farther away from its most recent level of clear resistance, and that would be that November 21st level for it as well, around 2,600. So again, crypto weakness across the board, guys, be it in these crypto equities with Coinbase near intraday lows or in the cryptocurrencies themselves. Also, MRO Marathon oil on watch here. Company purchasing 2 cargoes of Venezuelan crude at the end of January, as per executives. So Venezuelan oil here from Marathon Petroleum. Back to you.
Do you see that meme of President Trump where someone put like a face mask on him, like a baklava, and had like bare diamond chains? He's like, we're going to keep it.
Hey,
it's about the oil.
I know it.
It's so good. I played it 100 times. We're going to keep it. Right? Yeah, we're going to keep it. We might use it in the strategic reserve.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so good,
Palantir, why do you got to do us like that, Sharif, man? Palantir.
Sorry.
All right, yeah, we're out of this one. 55 was my stop, so we'll take an L on that one. We got a little bit of a move, guys. Gave it $1, but that pullback is hefty. Considering it's obviously in play and the volatility is up maybe a little bit more than $1, but that's what I was willing to rock and roll to see if we got that breakdown. I don't really want to trade it anymore. I just find that like if you're gonna play that type of tomfoolery with me, then I don't really got too much time for you, really. Just avoid it, trying to make my life a little bit easier.
I said baklava, I meant baklava. Sorry.
Balaclava.
Yeah, I was just too busy like trying to get my Trump impression. Yeah, it is. I just want to update because a question came in, which was actually really good. What are the trend lines on my chart? So for the newer viewers out there, so super simple to see over here. The dark blue, you should be able to see that. That's a first of all, they're all exponential moving averages, so I don't have any simple on mine. When I do have simple, I'll make that very clear, but 99.9% of the time, they're all what's it called? Exponential. So dark blue, that's a 200 EMA. Red, 50 EMA. VWAP is the white one and will always be the white one on my black charts. And then the the yellow is the 20 and the green is the 10 EMA. So I hope that helps. And they're basically going to be the same, wherever you're looking on my charts, saving except for the white charts where VWAP will be black. And obviously I got to do it that way because you're not going to see white on white, right? So that is the look there. By the way, I'm still holding here quadruple U, and it seems to be kind of holding up off the 10 EMA. Now, it did have a bit of a topping tail candle at 1125 that doesn't look great now, but the good news is the current candle, number one, held the 10, number two, held prior bar low. So let's see, how many shares do we have here in quadruple U? Well, why are we? Okay, we're going to get back in, simple as that. Let's go right back in here to quadruple U. We're going to look for another continuation. What do we have on this one? 18s, already showing me 20s. Let's post, and let's see if we can get something in the mid-20s, and then we're going to wait high 20s, low 30s. Let's see if quadruple U can kind of move along its merry way to the high side. That's it. And I'm watching USAR still dilly-dally at VWAP, but I'm not going to get into this one until I see a decided trend break. And right now, we're certainly not getting it. MTC, Eddie the legend. Dropping 2 in the chat. Thank you very much, Eddie. Let's have a look at MTC for the OG Eddie. See what we got over here. Really light in terms of volume, Ed. MTC, MTech Inc., $87 million market cap, volume on the day, 51,500, Eddie. So not really doing anything. Its 5-year average, by the way, is about a little bit less than 9 million shares, so well below that. Let's look at the daily. It's a great looking daily chart. Nobody can complain about that. Great breakout there. Looks like, I don't know, either on earnings, whatever, November the 5th. And this is a prolonged bull flag, and that's just basic wait and see mode over here. Sorry? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Eddie dropped another 10 memberships. I think that's like, I don't know, maybe 100 in a couple of days.
300 at least.
That's crazy that what he's been doing. Shout out to Eddie, man. Eddie's always doing it live. We appreciate you, Eddie, and I'll show you everybody right now that got the membership where they get the morning note. If they allow me a second just to kind of analyze this chart. I like this look, Eddie. This is kind of the bull flag, and we know the bull flag is telling a story that's happening in the market. Why does something consolidate after moving up? Well, it's working into its valuation. So there are reasons for these chart patterns. They don't happen in a vacuum and in isolation. So I don't mind this at all on the daily. Now, when you're talking about intraday, there's just nothing to trade, brother. We've done 87,000 shares of volume, and the spread is absurdly large from what I can see here. 307 on the bid, 360 on the ask for a $3 name. So that's a no-go for me intraday. Let's look at the quick look here at the weekly. Yeah, so this is where you're coming from, by the way. 1-to-8 split back on mid-December of 2024, but you are recovering. So not a bad look whatsoever. Looks like a flat top here at about 375, 350. Shout out to the OG Eddie. Now, give me an opportunity over here to let you guys know where you guys can get the morning note. First of all, let's shout out everybody who got the membership there. Give me a sec. Where is my screen at? There we go, Joey. So, first of all, Ashish, you got a free membership. Boosted Red Spot, you got one. Chucky, V, 8121, Tron, Devin Nielsen Official, Michael Higgins, Nesta Marley. Why for Michael Higgins, Joey?
My family's, my grandma's side.
Okay, I got you. Nate Howard, MF Dangerous, you got one. No, that you already had one. Rhino, the Collector, all you guys. Shout out to Eddie for the hookup there. You guys all got the morning note. So let's switch over here. I'll show you exactly where to get it. Super simple. You go to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV, and there are your tabs right there. Home, video, shorts, live, podcast. You click posts, and then weasel on down, and then you'll see if you have a membership, the premium membership, it'll see members only right there. Just click read more, and there she goes right there. There's a Google Drive link. You click that bad boy, and we start off with Altman reaffirming his support for Nvidia amid inference chip debate. More on that during the news hour. Make sure to catch that with us. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to get a premium membership, Joey, it's super simple. You click right below the video over here. See where it says join? Right there. Click that. Their Brendo pops up. He tells you what's good, and then you can click join right there. But a bit of a trick. Don't do it off your iPhone, because then you're going to pay more money. So go ahead, do it on your desktop, and it'll be $5.99, because Apple always wants their cut. Can't complain about that, Joey, because, you know, Apple shareholder and whatever, but, you know.
Let them get their cut. We're gonna get a little bit of our cut here on PayPal, Sharif. My brother, as we take a little bit more off right there off of those lows, we may as well take some. And then we re-engaged into Palantir, guys. I couldn't let that one go. We're gonna talk about why I hopped right back in, Gorb. You're gonna like this. So we're really involved here in Palantir. Yeah. I doubled my size up. From what I had up here. I'm just like, you know what? If I don't take it, then the trading gods are going to punish me if I don't. So there it is. We take some more off on Palantir. That's working really well for us. We're almost $1 ITM there on Palantir, on double the amount of size we had on that first entry. So let's see if we can take a little bit more off. I told you guys we can head into that 50 mark on Palantir, in my opinion. All right, so let's get in. So let's get into the details in the nitty gritty here, guys, on why I decided to re-engage. So we have this candle, right? We have this steady downtrend, but then you see buyers push price up, sellers push price right back down. Okay, we have that inverted hammer candle, whatever you would like to call it. We get that move. We then fail to establish a new high. So we bounce off of that previous pivot, but then we put in another inverted hammer candle right there. And I'm like, you know what? I have to take this opportunity. So now the objective is us to break that $53 mark. Now, we don't want too aggressive of a pullback. Considering I was $1 ITM on that one and only risking 50 cents, I was at a 2-to-1, and I'm going to get out break even if we do get that sustained bounce in Palantir. If not, it's just going to end as a flat trade, and it's unfortunate that we give a lot of unrealized back, but that's okay. We're not going to cry home about it. We took some more off on PayPal, and I don't even know what I'm sitting on. Probably approximately 40%. No, don't do this, Palantir. Don't do it. I mean, there we go. We got 60 cents on it. These pullbacks, the volatility is most definitely in. I'm going to be prepared to hop out on this trade if it does come back to my break even, just because it's really, really starting to bounce. Yeah, and there it goes. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that we didn't take any off. We failed to establish a new low in Palantir. It's really, really volatile here today, guys. But, Adara, what do you have for us?
I have a halt here on Novo Nordisk. In case you're wondering, hey, why is Novo Nordisk halted? All Novo Nordisk ADRs are halted, news pending. They're getting their sales and outlook release now. So again, Novo Nordisk earnings out now. It looks like Eli Lilly is pushing sharply lower on this, which is why I'm bringing this up. Some comments coming from Novo Nordisk. They are expecting an operating profit decline here of 5 to 13% for fiscal 2026. They're also expecting 2026 sales to decline by 5 to 13%. So sales declines being guided here by NVO. LLY is reacting negatively to this. Now, it is worth noting, Eli Lilly is reporting earnings before the bell tomorrow. So again, keep an eye here. NVO looks like we don't have the numbers out, but they do have their guidance. Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly both reporting tomorrow morning. So again, just an update here. Novo Nordisk ADR is halted and Eli Lilly pushing lower amidst weaker than expected guidance. They are expecting declines. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, so I got out of Palantir. We're going to take this off our side chart here just so I don't get any more frustrated than what I'm currently am. I mean, this was a nice move to the downside, 38, and I'm sure it's going to start to come back in, but these pullbacks are really, really wide, and it's just not working for my type of system right now. So we'll avoid Palantir. We still got PayPal working for us, guys, so we lose one and we get one break even there on PLTR. Moving forward, let's pull up SLV or something else on our chart, maybe the TQQs, because that was all right for us the other day as well too. So I mean, yesterday we traded that; it was pretty good, and Katina Man was trading that to the short side. So nice work on the TQQs. But we'll pull up, we'll switch it up. We'll pull it up with something else, and maybe throw a small capper on our chart as well.
My man.
Too. Yeah, because I seen some on the scanner. I was going over to my small cap scan
to
see what we had going on there, and things were looking pretty good. A lot of volume.
You got a small cap scan?
Yeah, it's just yours essentially. The one. So yeah, we got that rocking and rolling. So there it is, silver Silver still moving eastward, a nice channel to the top side, but we want to stick with things that are working for us in nice steady flows, less volatile, and that's not going to be Palantir. What am I going to put up over here, guys? Give me a couple tickers. I want to run through some names, but PayPal definitely our trade of the day as we almost established a new LOD as well, down 19.5%, guys.
All right. I'm still waiting here for resolution on quadruple U. I got back in. Look, there's a seller here at 20 to 25 that we can't shake. And it's been that way for a hot minute. And you can kind of see that on the 1. It's a lot easier to see on the 1 than the 5 because the 5 is only a couple. Well, actually, you can see it on both quite well. What is keeping me, I should say, optimistic about that quadruple U continuation is we're putting in higher lows. But we're not really rocketing up with any higher highs either. So this is an undecided one. Now, I'm also keeping my eye on GXAI. I was just talking to Lemon Family in the chat, and I still feel like...
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead,
you,
Joey.
Bro,
It's important. It's important. Go ahead.
Walmart Trilly Club.
You're lying.
Swear down.
You're lying.
Swear down.
No way.
Walmart Trilly Club.
What?
Yeah.
What's that? I was going to say the Italian one, but I don't even know if we'll get dinged on YouTube or what.
Can we say that one?
But yeah. Well, you know, Joey, we can. Really, eh? Yo, the Trilly Club's got a lot of members now, eh?
I mean, how many are there? How many do we got now on it?
Dang, man. Walmart, huh?
Is there 7, 8?
Joey,
8?
I owned this at 146 pre-split.
Yeah?
I'm infuriated right now. No, but it was dead money for a minute, so I had to let it go. But I don't feel too bad about that. Thank you for mentioning that. I wouldn't have known. Anyway, GXAI, I was talking to Lemon Family in the chat. I feel like this one is not still, breaking that lower high trend. So as soon as that trend line is decidedly broken, trust me, bro, we're going to be getting into this one. So we're going to pack the patience. Now, it's got a local area higher low situation, but it did that before. It lured me in. I'm negative on it, so I'm not going to do that twice. We're going to need a decided break. Now, shout out to Andrea Net. I think I said that right. Sorry if I butchered it. The situation over there is he's saying ANL, or they're saying ANL. Let's take a quick look at that because I had a look on my side chart, and it looked pretty good. Let's throw ANL on there. I'm not going to look at the week. Whoa, what? Joey, look at the weekly on this. Dead. I'm alive.
Oh.
What is this? ANL? Say more. Right. 439. All Adlay. Nortai, what? It's an ADR, obviously. Cayman Island-based investment holding company involved in the research and development of pharmaceutical products. Clinical stage company focused on the development of targeted immunomodulating cancer therapies. Advancing an oncology pipeline with a couple of different names I'm not even going to try pronouncing. Being evaluated registrational phase 3 trial for patients with recurring metastatic head and neck cancer. No, I know a company that does that, right? You've been listening to the advertisement. Thank you for this. This is really interesting. This is the daily on ANL, so nice breakout there. And this is the weekly, clearly kind of overlapping a little bit. But intraday, yeah, you've got some good moves. It looks like somebody got a little happy there with the buy button, 725, 730, retraces all the way down below VWAP, now reclaiming it. We're still below the pre-market high, but we are above VWAP. I'm going to keep my eye on this, but the spread on this one is, let's see. Where is the spread? How come it's not showing me the spread? High, low, no. Oh, here we go. 1160 on the bid, or the ask, sorry, 1136 on the bid. So it is quite spready, but it's not a bad looking chart at all. I'm going to put that on there so that I can kind of do my own research for the old swing account later. ANL, great shout out there, man. I do appreciate that. All right, looks like we got rid of that seller on quadruple U at 20s. We're up into 24. Let's go ahead and wet the beak because we've basically taken nothing out since we added. And then PDYN is displeasing me. It's heading back down with a rounded top through 8. I'm in at 87, showing me 93. We're out. Simple as that. I don't like the way it's trading at around $8. It looks like it's setting up another lower high. If this wants to dip down into 7.75, 780, we can have a discussion at that time. But until then, no, you're on Uncle Sheriff shit list for right now. USAR, trying to bounce. Here we go. I have a breakout trade ready on USAR. I've already put it in there. It is now above the 10 EMA. It's got 3 higher highs, and here it goes. It should be triggering my buy order now. Let me just get ready in case this one doesn't trigger. So let's go ahead and set it up. USAR is bouncing. Criminal is bouncing. They're both finding support at the volume weighted average price. Obviously, we're still not higher high. We got to get above 26.22 to get that higher high, but we may have a level of resistance prior, of course, to that 26.22 high, which is the 25.50, half dollar, whole dollar resistance. Keep that in mind. I'm definitely watching USAR, but let's cut the crap. The crap is criminal looks better than USAR. A more aggressive bounce, percentage-wise, chart pattern-wise, CRML looks a little bit better than USAR, despite the fact that it's only up 13.5, USAR 14.75. But it's locally, it looks a lot better. So, and it's smaller in price, or less in price, so you can size in a bit more. We're gonna keep an eye on the metals today. And don't forget, by the way, tomorrow there is an event, I believe with Marco Rubio leading it, that should be important for metals. And if you're wondering why metals are moving today, one of the reasons, of course, aside from AI and everything else, is President Trump announced that he kind of wants to create a strategic reserve for these critical minerals. He's going to fund it through a loan as well as private money, $2 billion in private money, about $10 billion in loans through some strategic development bank. We'll get the exact name of it during the news segment, but it's very much similar to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, obviously looking to counter China's dominance in the critical minerals field, which they dominate over 60% of the extraction, over 90% of the refining. So clearly he's trying to get a leg up, so to speak, before he meets with President Xi in September. Or sorry, September, calm down, bro, April. And that's going to be one hell of a meeting, man. So we'll see exactly what the situation is, but we're doing it live right now on Quadruple U. Good move up here into the 30s. We're wetting the beak, Joey.
All right, good stuff there, guys. Yeah, I was just taking a look at the tracker. We'll pull that up momentarily, but I think we're starting to find somewhat of a base here on PayPal here. So if we don't break 42.10s, maybe we remove a little bit. I have approximately 45% of my remaining position. So let's see what we got going on here. A nice strong bounce up there. I'm gonna just do it anyways and leave a little bit of a runner here, guys. Not much. We'll lock some in here on PayPal just in case this is the bottom. So yeah, I just took off the majority of it, now sitting on approximately 10% of the remaining position. If we get a hefty pullback, then so be it. Attempt number 2 really working for us there. Silver starting to really break the volume weighted average price. I like this for a potential short. I was going to re-engage right at the volume weighted average price where my previous entry was, but I think we might be able to get a little bit of a better price. Could be wrong as the market is putting in a new low. As the market is about to put in a new low of the day, guys, so keep an eye out on that one. Do I want to pull up Palantir? Because, well, we'll pull it up, but I mean, okay, yeah, so it's still continuing to climb. I'm glad that we got all out of that one break even. Otherwise, we would have had to dock another loss there, guys. We didn't want to do that. Failed to break that low and establish a new LOD. We get out at that break even mark, and then sure enough, boom, we get that climb a little bit higher as the market is heading to the southeast. And PayPal, this is the curl over. Glad that we took the majority of it off. A nice little hold. When did we re-engage in this? 10:30. We're now sitting at around noon. So held that one half decently. Not going to complain about it whatsoever. Now it's just to be patient and wait for a potential pullback in SLV. Eyes on Tesla as well. We'll pull up what we got going on. This is a quad top. That might be my new strategy right there. Great. Quad top on SLV there, guys. The inability to break that 80.72 mark, and then now you're heading right back towards the lower end of the range. Another move there in Tesla up to 428, and then now you're starting to head to the south side. But yeah, not too bad of a look. What do you guys got going on? Stevenson, I know you said you were in some TQQ's puts. Glad that you cooked up on that one, brother. Love seeing that. Also seeing a triple bottom on Soundhound, says Craig. What's up, Craig? I have a friend named Craig.
Hold on. Doesn't that sound like Friday a little bit?
Craig?
What's up, Craig?
Is that what I don't remember that bit.
Oh, come on, man.
Dude, I watched the Mike
Epps. Yeah.
I watched the Mike Epps comedy show the other day. It was pretty funny.
Was it?
Yeah. I always thought, like, I love Mike Epps' style of
stand-up in a hot minute,
his style of humor. I love it. I think it's absolutely hilarious. So yeah,
Felicia.
Yeah, SoundHound continuing to move a little bit lower. But it's the same narrative in a lot of the names, guys. You got to look at the necklines that are being broke. I'm not going to call this a head and shoulders. If you have to force the pattern, then it's probably not there. But there's a lot of support levels that are just being breached, and it looks like we might crack through that $6.47 mark, especially if the market continues to bleed. Big time bounce. Look at that out at 42.20 there on PayPal. We like that one. Full disclosure, still slightly red, but nothing we can't regain here, especially with a move in silver to the downside, which I think we can run into that $77 mark. From a daily perspective, it's really tough to gauge this one because we are still forming an inside day from last Friday, right? Like you have that massive bounce. But what I'm thinking here is that you get that gap fill into $74, right? We gap up this morning. Maybe we get a little bit more bleeding and a pullback in SLV.
There goes USAR right off the volume weighted average price. I was talking smack about this one, Joey. I was saying criminal looks better. Now USAR looks better. We're waiting next at 69. We got 45s on. This is the second entry, first entry 25, right? We wet the beak up to 40. It breaks down to VWAP. We say, no, thank you, sir. We get back in 25.40, and here comes 69. That print is gone. It's showing me 73s. We're waiting at 77s next, and then we're going to wait in the low 80s as well, 82 as well as the high 80s. We're going to wait at 88. Shout out to the man. We're going to wait for that move up. What you know, Friday, what does that mean? Oh, am I missing something here? I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember that part. Shout out to Stacks G's. I love that name, bro. He's stacking G's. Here I'm trying to get pennies. This guy's stacking G's. No, we're getting pennies, but you know, the pennies mean something different. But we're doing it live here, Joey, on as well. Quadruple U into the 30s we go. Let's wet the beak over here. But quadruple U is a bit of a thicker trade, man. I mean, there seems to be a lot of resistance at 30s and in the 20s. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this. PDYN as well, trying to break above that 810. PDYN looks good here. I got out of it because it looked like it was going to break down. I was wrong. It did lure you down, though, on that 1150 candle, but right back up above 8. So PDYN could be him here. Let's keep an eye on that. And then GXAI as well broke trend. Where is my GXAI trade? It's breaking trend. GXAI now, I think, is, look, I'm going to put it above 238. So there is an area right here that I don't like, so I'm going to put it in the 40s. So GXAI, we're going to put a breakout trade 2, which will necessarily mean that I don't have the best price. I'm fine with that. Let's go ahead and do just that. And we're going to put the breakout trade there for a move about prior level. But it really is the USAR show, man. PDYN is breaking out as well. USAR is at 82. There's the fill on 82. We're waiting now at 88s. It's up 16 3/4. Oops. Let's go ahead and wait in the low 90s as well. So let's go ahead and post there. We'll shut it to 93. Last time the Blue Jays won the World Series. It's okay. It's okay. We'll be able to get over that. Scotty, CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines. One I will never go on. I've seen the videos. That's why. I will never be there. I'm actually thinking about going on Royal Caribbean. Instead of Punta Canada that I was telling you about on Saturday, I'm actually thinking about going on RCL.
Just try out the cruise?
Yeah, I've never been on a cruise.
Yeah, me neither.
I was looking at some really
good
prices.
How are you on the water? Do you get seasick or anything like that?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
no,
right.
not at all. Not at all. Yeah. No, I don't.
I was going to say,
even on small boats, I'm not going to get sick on a big boat. It's like, you know what I mean?
You're getting sick on that one. It's like a little city. You know what I was gonna say about you were talking a little baseball there. I never understood this. And I'm referring to Bo Bichette and Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Okay, so like you win a championship, right? And then you go to the finals. Like,
hold on. We got to go to. I think something's going on back there. So let's go ahead. Yeah.
So I mentioned it earlier, Novo Nordisk here was halted, news pending, as we did have, I mean, the news was already out here, but I guess we're just waiting it to reopen. Basically, the company announcing weaker than expected guidance here going forward for fiscal 2026. They're actually expecting a 5 to 13% year-over-year decline for both their EPS and their sales. It looks like they did announce some results as well, so it's unclear if we're still going to get any earnings from them tomorrow morning. If I get any kind of notice on that, I'll let you know here. But either way, NVO was halted here. We are now out. It's pushing lower. Eli Lilly is another one to watch here. We know they are, not only are they competitors in the weight loss drug space, but they're actually both, again, scheduled to report earnings tomorrow before the bell. So again, if you're wondering why Novo Nordisk was halted and now why it is dropping, weaker than expected guidance here was released during that news pending hold. I did mention the guidance. The hold, again, I was trying to get to you guys here earlier, but the hold has now ended. Back to you.
Up to you, Joey. Yeah, that was important.
What I was
stuff,
just saying, I just never understood why you would leave a championship team. Like, you go to the finals, you win a finals, and you decide to go elsewhere. I just think that's bad business, in my opinion.
And how about breaking up a championship team?
Yeah, like
Liverpool, they let Luis
like,
Diaz walk. They let Alexander Arnold walk. They bring in Kirkez and Ritz, and yeah, I like Ikatike. I like, what's his name, Alexander Isak as well. But the point is, you don't break up a championship team.
Yeah,
you keep all those players until they prove that they're no longer championship material, and then you let them move on. Which everybody is, like, all the Liverpool fans, my old man included, are furious about that.
Yeah,
so I completely echo that sentiment.
DJ saying it's because it's mission complete, but, like, what do you mean? Don't you want to try to do it again? Like, it's such a rarity to win a championship. Like, I'll be honest with you, the Leafs may not. I think the Cubs went 99 years without winning a championship.
Yeah,
the Leafs are
Neil
going
to
go on that trajectory. So I mean, in my lifetime, I may never see these guys win.
I mean, I know that really does bother you, and I know you're not a Leaf fan anymore, but we all know how true that is. But I sympathize, brother. And yeah, I see you, Adam. I see you, Adam. That's hilarious. 103 million on 3 players from Palace is crazy. You know, what do they pay for Ritz, man? What didn't they pay, like 120 million quid for this guy? Or was it Kirkez? Which one did they? Because I know Ikatike was 98 plus change. And then I think it was Ritz, pretty much. Florian Ritz, he was ridiculously expensive. But you guys will know more than me in the chat. Anyway, let's focus here, guys. We're doing it freaking live on Quadruple U. This one continues to trend above the 30s. It just got into the day high of 40. Your boy wet the beak there, but there is a seller at 40, so that high remains the same. Verts, yeah, it was. Thank you, Benton. I appreciate you. Benton, the Gunner fan there. I like Benton. And then we're also keeping an eye here on USAR, right back into that area high. It looks like it got to 85. It didn't quite fill me, sadly, at 88, nor did it fill me into the 90s. So this one is putting in another lower low. Now, I shouldn't say another, but it is putting in a lower low. So this current candle, which is a 12 o'clock candle, right back up. It's going to take out prior bar high. Looking for that move. 85 now. We're waiting at 88. There's 88 on the ask. Can we move up a little bit more? The answer is, well, no for now. 88 seller. Can't shake the 88 seller. Let's see if we can get a price spike up into the 90s. It's not immediately happening, so we'll pack the patience. But we are moving up. With this candle did bamboozle, and there it is. It breached prior bar low, and now it's taking out prior bar high. So we get the 88 sell, and now we're waiting in the mid 90s. Let's go ahead and post north of 26 now. We're going to wait at 7s. 2607. Looking for USAR to continue up along its merry way. I'm still waiting for my entry on GXAI. I still hasn't cleared 40, despite the fact that it wicked up there, so we're not going to get involved in that. And there goes USAR taking out all my orders except for the one north of 26. We still got shares on this one, man. We're going to do it. We're going to do it live. We're looking for that 2622 Joey high. What you got?
Good look there. All right, so we might get a trailing stop out here on PayPal. That's all right, though. We lock some in here. We gain whatever we lost here back, added a little bit more shares, get that move all the way down to 42.10, and then you get that rebound. When I seen this consolidation zone at the lows, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That downtrend movement might be over for the time being. So now I'm just got my eyes on maybe a potential Tesla short as the market. I was thinking about going long the TQs, but I don't like this breath here. We have that consolidative zone, but it looks like we want to take an additional leg lower. We are cracking through some necklines as well here on TSLA, guys. So keep that in mind. We'll take a look at what we got going on the lower time frames on Tesla as you break that 425 mark, failed to establish a new high right there. So let's see what we can get rocking and rolling. I mean, there's plenty of time left, and I'm only one trade away from turning this day away green. So I don't want to kind of rush into anything. I think just patience and obviously a higher level of accuracy, less trading can get me back to that. So we'll be patient and wait what we got going on. We're still in this PayPal short, so this has been working for us 100%. Can I please check AGQ? Absolutely, man. Especially when you say please. We like manners around these neck of the woods. So please, may you please is an absolute. We drop everything that we're doing. And ultra silver. So this is AGQ. This is ultra silver. I don't know if this is a leverage thing. I didn't get anything in my. I'm hearing a dare talk. So let me. Okay, yeah, so there it is. It's not too bad. I mean, silver is moving to the downside. Watch out for these support levels to be breached. And then who knows, this is what I was mentioning from before. This gap might get filled in SLV, guys. So be patient, wait for those pullbacks, and then you can engage. But Adara, what do you have for us?
Here's the Nasdaq hovering in and around intraday lows, and it's not the only name that is doing so. Joe mentioned PayPal, and I'll get to PayPal near the end of this segment, but we also have Netflix near intraday lows as we do await that NFLX and WBD appearance here from two executives, one at each company, in front of that Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Antitrust. Again, that's at 2:30 p.m. So NFLX very weak heading into that announcement. Earnings absolutely in focus. We've got AMD, SMCI, Chipotle, Enphase, Amgen, all reporting after the bell. So that's going to be pretty massive. I mean, again, earlier today, heading into today, we had earnings from Palantir, by far the most notable earnings name today. But in addition to Palantir, there was Pepsi, the aforementioned PayPal, and several others. I do want to talk about this news that we just had. Novo Nordisk is at intraday lows. Now, the company did release some sales results for fiscal 2025. Again, it's unclear if they're going to be releasing more results coming forward, but NVO, again, pretty weak here, guys. This was initially halted for news pending. The bigger reason for this drop is not their sales for 2025, but rather the fact that they are guiding a 5 to 13% year-over-year decline in both EPS and sales for 26. Eli Lilly trading lower as well in sympathy. I do have to talk about PayPal because PayPal shocked the world, to use the words of former CEO Alex Chriss. I say former because this morning the company announced that he's out and HP CEO Enrique Lores is in. That's going to be taking effect as of March 2026. And this was not the only CEO announcement we got today. Disney also announcing, hey, Bob Iger will be stepping down in March of 26. He'll be replaced by our friend Josh D'Amaro. So I'm going to be trying to get some infographics ready for that for you guys, so you guys can kind of see a comparison between the two CEOs. But either way here, this shows how flat revenue really was under Alex Chriss. This is not yet available in XTTV Research. You guys are getting a sneak preview, but I don't have to give you a sneak preview of Neil's lesson. It's ready right now. So without further ado, please feast your ears upon the words of Neil Roberts. Sorry.
Thanks, Darren. It's all good. There was just talk in the midday about like championship droughts. I got to throw it out there. The Chicago Cubs World Series drought was 108 years. And there's something to be said about the pain of that as a fan when you don't go all the way and get over the hump. By the way, Bo Bichette left for money. He's just trying to get paid, and he got a very good contract, so it is what it is. And the Jays didn't win a championship, so we weren't actually blowing up a championship team. But that being said, if you're trying to build a championship run as a trader, it's not the same thing. Sports and trading are very similar in the regard that the rules of the game are the same every day in the market, right? Like you open at one time, officially, there's obviously pre-market too, you close, there's bid, there's ask, there's the gateways that you can use, there's the stocks that are available to trade, there's market rules like the uptick rule, and when a stock goes SSR, there's halt bands, and all of these things are in place, just like the rules of hockey or baseball or basketball or football are the same for every game, and then each day is a little bit different. The biggest difference in trading is in sports, you have a goal each game. You're trying to beat the other team and score more points than them. You're trying to win more games in a season so that you can go to the playoffs. You're trying to win the playoffs so you can win a championship. None of that exists in trading. No trader I have ever, maybe there's a prop firm where this exists, or maybe there's somewhere out there where this is true. But again, I've only traded at a prop firm professionally for over 20 years, and I can say without a doubt, I have never once gotten to the end of the month on my settlement and gotten a check that had anything to do with beating the market or beating something or winning some kind of arbitrary metric. No, you literally just get paid whether you make money or not. So that's where it differs from trading, although just like Bo, you're just trying to get paid, and I can't really hate on that. If you're going to do that, I got a question this morning, and someone had asked me, well, how do you hold your winners and not just aggressively get that first out? I think it just comes down to having a plan of action a lot of times. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of this. And the examples I'm going to use are more simplistic because you have a range-bound trade. Like ZSL, for example, where I can take a trend break off of the low. And it's like, well, Neil, how do I hold till it gets into VWAP? And why am I holding for a bigger move up to the point that I stop out on this trade in here? Well, it's pretty simple. I want to scalp inside of the range, but if it breaks the range, I think there's a bigger move afoot, right? Which happens to be doing so now. Would make the point better if it wasn't making this move right now, but it happens to be. No, so ultimately, when I get the entry here at 96, 97, if I know my stop is 5 cents away, and I know that VWAP, the break, is 5 cents away up here, then I'm not offering until it gets to that price target area. And then I can be aggressive getting some out 1-to-1, but everything else should be a hold for a bigger move because I want to play that expected range. Now, when it breaks this trend, am I holding for longer than I would here? Yes, because now the entirety of that downward trend has been broken and there's more explosive upside in the trade. So I'm just holding for a little bit further. But like before, I'm not covering till it gets to first resistance. When it breaks that, I'm not covering till it gets to second resistance. If and when it breaks this, I go to the next level, and I'm looking up here at about 230, which I'm not even offering yet, which is the prior pre-market lows. So it really just comes down to your plan and whatever it might be. But I'm going to take this one step further because I think there's another aspect of this which can matter. And I'm just going to show you WBD. I know it doesn't really move that much, but it's about how much it relatively moves. So 1.5% opening range, approximately. So when you're looking for reversion or buy the dip or whatever it is, I know the type of market it's in. About 1.5% range on the open on WBD. Today, it moved 0.5% on the open range. So instantaneously, my expectations are it has a third of the upside or a third of the potential because it's not as volatile. Once that is true, I know in my mind I cannot lose more than 1/3 at best, or maybe even less than that, of what I was making on prior days in WBD when it was a better opportunity. If I'm trading this stock every day inside of the range, then the day where the range is smaller, I don't want to be risking more on it. Because I know inherently, you don't always get this chance to be able to see it so obviously. I know inherently the opportunity isn't as big, so I'm not going to be risking as much. But it all comes down to a plan of action. Why? And executing your plan and just being positive. Because this is not like sports. There's a closing bell and a final buzzer in both of those, but at the end, it's not you winning or beating somebody. In trading, focus on making money for yourself. If you are focused on trying to be smarter than the market, trying to be right about something, trying to beat somebody else's P&L, who cares? You will never get paid on somebody else's P&L. And if that ever ends up being true, then it's an interesting way for any kind of a firm to operate. I don't know, like maybe that's something in other places. I have absolutely no idea. And that's why you don't see me going crazy. What did I tell you on ZSL? It's a bigger move if it breaks out of this all-day trend than it is if it just plays inside of the range. So where's my next target? I want in front of 230. And then the way I look at it, if this goes to like 270 or 280 up here, some people would say, oh, but Neil, then you got out way too early. I'm like, that's nice. But for what I do, that works. That's the trade I'm trying to put on. Because I just want to be consistent in executing a plan of action and a strategy with positive expectancies. And if we turn around here, I do have to set up a trailing stop as well. And then you go from there. You can always do two things for your trades. You can work on a way to hold longer, You can work on a way to add to your position so that you're just sizing more on the same trade. But neither one of those two things matter unless you're just making positive trades in the first place. So don't worry about winning a championship in trading. Just worry about being green and being better than you were before. That is the only thing that matters. And it starts with being positive. And I mean that in a genuine sense. Oftentimes you'll hear me say this. I look at trading in terms of quarters and like months and quarters instead of days and weeks because I've been doing it for 20 years. And if you want to be consistent, I think that's the kind of outlook you need. And you can't have that there is a finish line kind of aspect to it. By the way, the market is continuing to dump. That's probably why silver keeps on going to the upside. Silver and gold, once again strong. Market, once again, in the dumps. Good luck, everybody, with your trading. Hopefully you're not long Novo Nordisk.
Oh boy!
I mean, silver is kind of tanking here.
Yeah, people were asking.
Yeah.
I like that 76 buy zone on silver. Look at that close. You see that?
Yeah.
See that aftermarket high?
This right here. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about is a gap fill. I mean, we got 5, 10, 15 minutes straight to the downside with a minuscule breath right here. We'll call it 5, 10, half an hour of consecutive selling here in SLV. As that upward channel continues to break, we get a new LOD in PayPal. We did take the majority of it off here, guys, sitting on approximately 12% of the position. We'll take some off at 42s. So a nice little move to the downside in PYPL. Looking for something some form of continuation here, guys. I mean, with Tesla, we had multiple opportunities around that 426 mark to get involved and play that neckline break, but we didn't. Hesitation Nation, we'll call it on that one. So what are we going to slap on that one?
What are you going to slap, Joey?
This, my friend.
Oh.
It's all right, though. But what we haven't hit this in all week, Sharif, so we'll hit this one here for the PayPal short, down 20% almost here today. So
some Iran stuff happening right now. Oil is spiking to the high side. USO up big time. So thank you for that in the chat. I appreciate you there. Whips HS saying watch out for USO. Iran stuff. I'm not immediately seeing it. Iran wants to change venue and format of nuclear talks with the U.S. coming in at 12:02. I'm not sure that is it. Let's see USO, what time that actually moved. This is the 5-minute chart. Yep.
Yeah, it just came out here. So according to a U.S. official, the U.S. military shot down an Iranian drone that approached U.S. Navy aircraft center. That was 1 minute ago. That's probably what it was.
Yeah. What do they say to the FAFO? You know what I mean? Here we go. Here we go. It's on again, off again, this tension in the Middle East. I'm just worried about the Strait of Hormuz. You block the Strait of Hormuz, even if it's like where 90% of the world's oil goes through. I don't know exactly what percentage, but it's high, right? You block that even for like 10 minutes, oil is going to react. And you're just seeing that right now. So here we go. Amen. We can't control it, but we can certainly trade off it. So that's exactly what we're going to be.
These will make some money off of it, man. Or try to. Anyways, we'll hit the.
Absolutely.
We'll hit that one.
I'm in Fat Bastard. I mean, sorry, a different one. FATBB. I mean, if this is not Fat Bastard, then what could be Fat Bastard? This is fantastic over here. So initially, a little bit of a fat-fingered mistake on. Sorry?
I burped.
Oh, you're good. Anyway, I put my stop way too tight, so I got stopped out almost immediately. We're right back in. Where are we in? We're at 123. Show me 123 right now. Looking for that move up into the high 20s, low 30s, mid 30s. We're putting in the orders there. It's still putting in higher lows above the 10 EMA, above VWAP, 145 high, up 60% on the day. Keeping my eye on this one, but definitely not adding aggressively until I see a little bit more. Here's 125, looking for continuation. Seller at 125, can't shake them. Good amount of volume, 7.16 million shares. This one only really started breaking out later in the day. I want to say around 11:35. So it's I don't think the best trade is behind it, but you never really know with these small cap gappers. We're going to trade the technicals. We're not going to fall in love with the name. We get stopped out. USAR. I got stopped out of that one, but for profit. And this one is really upsetting me because it's going to take out 26 right now. Look at that move up into 25.90. So good strength here on USAR. I was thinking about getting back into the 10 EMA, and then I saw the candle at 12.10, which, decidedly breached that 63 penny area all the way down into the mid 50s. So I said, maybe this isn't the one for me. So I'm packing my patience here. I want to see what USAR USAR does at 26. I think if it takes out that double top from 12 and 1205, the high of which is 07s, I'm going to go long. So we're going to put a breakout trade here on USAR for the break of that double top. And yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go 08, and we're going to take out that long, possibly for less size though, through that level. So I'm keeping my eye on that. In the same time, I'm keeping my eye here on Fat Bastard into 65% now. Show me 26. So we've taken out the 25 seller, but like there's literally size at every single penny. Yeah, get in my belly, says Fabian. Yeah, man, that's one of my favorite movies. And I got to tell you, of the three,
yeah,
The Spy Who Shagged Me is my favorite, which is number 2, right?
Right.
So that's the one where Fat Bastard's in. That's 3, brother. That's 3. That's Gold Member.
Yeah,
that
Gold
one
Member.
is a little bit later on. So I like
The Spires.
I like The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah, what is the other
You know,
one
it's a
called?
playoff,
The International Man of Mystery?
I think that's the first one.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
first
that is the
one.
first
That's
one.
the first
You know that Spy Who Shagged Me title is a playoff James Bond, obviously, The Spy Who Loved Me or something like
probably.
that.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are kind of.
Yeah, they're right. Of
Yeah,
course, because
spin-off
he's like
of,
that doofus spy
exactly.
that doesn't really know what the hell he's doing.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I probably already know the
Keep
answer
it down,
to this
Ram.
one. Do you ever see that movie MacGruber?
No.
It's like a
Sorry.
spin-off of MacGyver. Yeah, MacGruber. It's like a classic. Oh yeah.
All right, we got to go to Adair.
Keep an eye here in KTOS and potentially some of these other drone plays. The Department of Defense announcing their list of vendors who were invited to compete in phase 1 of the drone dominance program. Reportedly, KTOS is on this list. So again, this is not a deal by any means. They have to compete in this drone program, but reportedly KTOS is one of the companies that will be invited to participate in said competition. Back to you.
Ooh, all right.
Tesla moving lower here as well.
Bleeding its own blood, eh?
Yeah, it's really
no
starting to
good.
slide there, guys. A double top on TSLA. Unfortunately, we didn't take advantage of it right here, man. It is what it is. We'll hold on to it still in some PayPal, guys. You can see from 42.83, now trading down to 41.97. So we did get that $42 crack. Down almost 20% here, guys. Am I going to try to find somewhat of a bounce here in the TQQs? I don't think so. We want to go with the flow on this one as the market is just continuously bleeding. People are saying NVDA is getting smoked. Yeah, I think we're
down 3 and a third almost now.
Yeah, poor thing, man.
Yo, Netflix is going to lose 80, man. It is close. 80.5 right now. The flakes is.
Yeah. I mean, it's ugly right now, and I think for some time here, expect to see this. Like, we've been in this consolidation. I don't think that we break higher until we break through that 167 mark in NVDA, do some more liquidity grabs, mess around, get people a little bit more scared, and then sure enough, don't forget, the big boys are in this for the long run, right? They don't care about this little bit of a move from here to there. They're just like, no worries. We'll shake out all the retail guys. We'll grab all their liquidity, and then sure enough, so you'll have some news. It'll start really small, and it's just one thing after the other. We'll kind of just accumulate, and then you'll make that new high. I think that NVDA can head up into like a $400 name in the next couple of years. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. But as for that 170 mark in NVDA, once that cracks, you're going to see probably a little bit lower, and then that's when you slowly want to start grabbing this name, in my opinion.
All right, man. I got stopped out of this one. Fat Bastard. We're out. This one did wick me down below the volume weighted average price, but it's quickly reclaiming it. So I feel like I was stop hunted there. If that's going to be the nature of this trade, where I'm constantly having to worry about the stop hunting, I don't think I really want to be involved with it because it's showing you its propensity to do that. So. Yeah, I'm going to steer clear of this one at least for now. So let's see what this one has to offer anyway above maybe that 130 area. So FATBB, no go for me. Keeping an eye still, though, on USAR. I worked into this one through the break of 26. It's got some higher low, so I'm trying to pack my patience over here. I took a much smaller position through the break of 26 because you're getting it at high, so by definition, it's a little bit more risky. What I'd like to see is a hold of 80. If it doesn't hold 80, I'm out. Simple as that. We're going with half the size, but it's got to hold up above 80. If it can work its way into that fifth of a dollar, 26.22 is the high of the day. Let's see if it can take that out. Now, it did take out that double top that I was talking about, the 12 o'clock and 12:05 candle, the high of which, as I said, is 07s, which is why I'm in at 08, 09, I guess. So a little bit of slippage there. But let's see if this one can kind of retrace get its footing above that 26.22, and we'll see what the situation is. Nothing for me to do on GXAI, as well as this one is continuing to trend down. This did lure in some people, and I'm sorry about that, guys. I didn't call it out, but I did see you guys talking about it in the chat. And the reason why you guys got lured is because of this. It was basically unbroken in terms of lower highs. You change that with some higher lows on this candle here, 1150. But that's as good as you could do, man. I mean, that 12 o'clock candle did punch up into 40. Thankfully, I had my order above 45 because I was, you know, thinking about getting lured in like this, of the possibility of that. So I don't know, man. We'll see. If we can get back above 240, GXAI could be an entry for me here. But it's going to have to get above that topping till inverse hammer candle that manifested at 12. So nothing for me to do on GXAI until and if it gets above that level. AMPX, for the small cap gapper inclined who don't really care about volume, price action divergence, this one is continuing a trend, man. It's finding some money fills here at the 20 EMA on the 5, working its way right back into that high at day 1486 high, showing 75 right now. AMPX is up 12.17%, so certainly not a bad look. We'll keep an eye out on that. That's all I've got, Joey, to be quite honest. We're going to really focus on USAR here until and if GXAI gives me something to look at.
I like it a lot. So yeah, I mean, Tesla is starting to form a little bit of a candle at some support levels. Was that the final liquidity grab on the Nasdaq before we find somewhat of a bounce? Obviously, guys, I mean, I'll tell you this for free, and I'm pretty sure that most of you guys figured this out on today's intraday session. It's definitely been the shorts that have been a little bit easier going in this latter half. I mean, you're getting the momentum to the downside, and on the TQs, it's been all day bleeding, essentially with one little pullback, not even quite back to the volume weighted average price. So yeah, I mean, I like it. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Jesse. So yeah, let's see what we got going on. Tesla, maybe we get something involved in TSLL here on this 5-minute hammer candle starting to formulate. How much time do we have left on that specific 5-minute print? Only 60 seconds or so. I mean, or 20 seconds or so. So not too bad. We'll keep our eyes on that one. PayPal, we got the new low of the day. That's been cooking up for us all throughout the intraday session. I mean, we've been in it for quite some time now. We're going to continuously hold on it. I'm not going to mock it or anything along those lines. No need, and I only have 10% left of my remaining full size. Now I just want to see if we're going to find a bounce or this momentum is going to continue to the downside. And I think with the commodities like SLV, you just want to go with the flow. You're seeing an increase in volume. That is a hammer candle, but if we do reject this support level and then slowly start to curl over, sure enough, who knows what can happen, right? Maybe you start to establish a new low, you head towards that low of the day, and you get that gap fill into $75, which I was talking about. It may just take some time, or you may not get it at all, but that's kind of the game plan, what I had going on. A pullback here in Tesla can get us involved here via TSLL. We don't want to go too far off of the lows just because our risk to reward is going to be drastically skewed. If we get a hold of about approximately 50% of this wick low, then I think we can get involved for somewhat of a bounce. Our RVR is going to be extremely tight at that point, but we're getting that bounce to 421.70 now in TSLA. Oh, my guy Top VOIP was asking me to take a look at Broadcom. I don't even want to know what Robinhood is up to. A lot of people are saying dip buys. I just don't know if this is swing territory, right? Like, you can see a lot of the big names that were stronger in earlier 2025 are really starting to crack some support levels. Now, don't go all in at once. If you're thinking that you want to start grabbing them, I think it's some good opportunities, but it's 5% here, 10% here, another 5% there until you obviously fully allocate your position into your size that you're looking to get into. But I think when we see this type of selling, I'm just speaking from my little experience essentially, is that it's going to take a little bit longer than what we're expecting to kind of find somewhat of a rebound. A couple more earnings reports, and then sure enough, if the numbers are coming in better than expected, in which it's been pretty good so far, then maybe we can start to see somewhat of a turnaround here, guys. So there goes AVGO, still cracking to the downside here, Sharif. Yeah, it's getting banged up right now. $338 all the way down to $312. That's going to be at 8% haircut on today's intraday session. Let's head over to the daily. Same thing. Like, there's so many identical patterns. You eliminate what we have on the side right here, and I'm going to say, hey, what do you guys think about this as you have these consolidated forms, and it's almost like head and neck patterns starting to formulate, and then sure enough, you're just breaking through support. It's the exact same thing across the board. Like, how many tickers do I need to go through to see the exact same thing over and over again? Robinhood has broke. What are we at now in Robinhood? 87 smackers. Not too good over there. Sharif, SoFi looking identical as well too. I mean, we can go down the list on a daily as you break through that $21, $22 mark on SoFi. And then here's the NVDA once again, right? So it's just a lot of the same pattern going on across the board in the overall market. Sentiment is key, and someone mentioned that yesterday. Fundamentals sometimes get thrown out the window when the overall sentiment in the market isn't too good.
Man, have you seen Bloom Energy, man?
Is
showing Brendo this one, another all-time high this morning. Another one, yeah. So this is another one that we're holding. I'm not definitely doing well on the AV Geo trade, but BE definitely having a day today. This one is just Parabolic, man, and it had a great entry at 80, double bottom there at 80. If you were waiting for confirmation of that double bottom, I would have said certainly 120-ish, but it didn't really give you all that much time above that 120 before it was all gone. By the next day, it was up into 135. So BE, and it's still up. What is it up on the day, man? It's up 6.5, and it's well off the highs. It got to 176. It's at 166 right now. So Bloom Energy, and we were looking at Constellation Energy today, kind of trying to make the comparisons between nuclear and hydrogen, and CEG, man, has been getting clipped. I'm getting clipped here on this USAR trade as it's double topping at 26, coming back down into 25 3/4. Looking over here to see if it's going to lose the 10 EMA, because this is the 10 EMA. If it stops out, let's go ahead and throw that on there right now. We're going to do just that. I'm not going to take out the subjectivity of this whole thing. There we go. We'll throw that on there. So if it loses the 10 EMA, I'm out of this one. USAR, definitely resistance at 26. Very little time at above 26, even though it's a 26, 22 high. Yeah, we just got stopped out of the remaining amount there on USAR. So really nothing is setting up at the moment, at least for me. If there are any small cap gappers that are up nicely on the day, that are doing volume, that are ideally above $1, I'd love to hear about them because there are really nothing, or there is nothing here on my chart that I like trading at the moment. So we're gonna have to pack the patience and not take bad trades. Looking quickly here at the scanner, the up top scanner, looking for anything new and exciting. Nothing really coming in that's doing volume, that's near highs or at technical levels. So if you guys see something, just tag myself or Joseph, let me know it's good. Until then, we'll just kind of look at some of the names that you guys are pointing out. Grandmother's Garden wants me to look at Western Digital, WDC. Let's take a quick look at that.
What's goody?
Let's see what this one is up to. Great look for WDC. It's been kind of a sympathy play. Do they even make RAM? Like, I always knew Western Digital for hard drives. Developer, manufacturer, and provider of data storage devices and solutions, hard drive solutions for every student, gamers, home office. Company manufactures, markets, sells data storage solutions through the United States, foreign countries. Doesn't say anything about RAM, but I can find out later. Anyway, WDC has been a rocket ship as of late. That's the daily there. And then basically you had an opportunity to get over here at 234 before it breaks 3. 2 candle pullback, which were quite aggressive off the highs there and into low. We lost about 20%. In 2 trading days on WDC. Let's look at the 5. On the intraday, it's not my cup of tea. Definitely a bit of a range here with 291 to the upside. Low has about 287, 286 mids. But that's not, you know, my style of trading over here, to be quite honest with you, on WDC. I really like the daily, though, on that. So if you're asking about the daily, great look. No RAM, says Stevern. Yeah, okay. So it's not only the RAM game, I guess storage important as well. So keep your eye on that. FATBB, Farm Trader, is not setting up for me. I do see it. It's on the side chart up 50%, but it's below VWAP, and it's still not clearing that area high at 130. So that's not for me. Computranet, I think his name is Ivan Sandis, was a spin-off memory from Western Digital. Cool, yeah. I remember both of them back in the day when I used to kind of put together my own computers. I don't think it makes much of a difference though, brother, currently, right? But hey, clearly WDC is in vogue as well, up 6 2/3 today. So it's not just RAM. Storage as well seems to be news. Yeah, JL822, we already spoke about the Iran news. It seems to be a shooting down of a drone. We did mention that. We did talk about U.S. oil reacting. Thank you for reminding us about that, though. In case you're wondering why oil is dropping or popping, excuse me. That is the reason. So USO up 1.69, but you're seeing outsized moves on XOM. ExxonMobil is up over 4% today, with Oxy up 2, CVX up 1.8, so could have something possibly to do. I'm seeing others as well here moving. You're seeing SLB as well, Schlumberger up 2%. Yeah, so there's a bunch of oil names that are moving at the moment, so keep your eye on those. Joe.
All right, good stuff, man. I mean, Gaurav, we're holding up those candle lows on Tesla, but the market doesn't want to find any form of a bottom just yet as it's continuing to bleed here, guys. So let's see. We can have a pretty tight risk profile here. I like this one, especially on Tesla. You give that about 60 cents or so, and then you just get out of Dodge. Maybe a little bit more to be, you can give it $1. I think $1 is going to be safe. If you do crack the support line, then you just get out of Dodge on that one. So NVDA is starting to head towards 179. So yeah, I mean, come on, man. NVDA. Just kind of going over the same names here. If there's anything specific, I know my boy Gaurav was talking about UNH here. So let's pull up UNH. Novo Nordisk getting smacked as well, too. So starting to form somewhat of a bottom here, it looks like, my brother. But let's get involved in a little bit of Tesla. I mean, I don't think we're going to get that sustained bounce what we're looking for, but I do like the risk to reward ratio on this one. And we could just get out, take a little bit of a paper cut, and then no issues whatsoever. Market hasn't yet to find a bottom. Silver putting that indecision print. So there is a little bit of a signal here for all my VPA traders. Just the correlation between volume and price is what we're looking for. But we have this outstanding volume print, and then you have this hammer candle kind of right at some key support levels. And this is what Sharif was talking about earlier, that 76.11 mark or 76.24. We're not going to get too accurate on that. But he's like, hey, this pivot high, you might find somewhat of a sustained bounce. And so far, we're holding up pretty good on SLV. Going back to Tesla, let's get involved. Actually, no, Gaurav, we're gonna take our words. We're gonna eat our words relatively quick on that one and not jump the gun too early. But let's head back over to the names that we have been trading. PayPal starting to find somewhat of a bounce. What's going on with PHOE?
Fluffy was just asking me about that.
Was just asking. You want to cover it?
Yeah. Well, I saw the headline from today. I can't find anything from yesterday. Excuse me. I don't have the headline from today. So let me just pull up what was happening with this monster yesterday. And here is the headline. So this was selling off clearly yesterday. I had a tough day from 60. We got all the way down, I think, into the teens. So we lost about 70% yesterday. And this is the headline from yesterday. Plunged about 84%, give or take, on Monday following an unstable speculative rally on the 30th of January. Shares surged 1,000% intraday to 133, despite no company news driven by retail speculation and social media buzz. Low float microcap stock, about 5.5 million share float, remains volatile with the RSI. This is yesterday's data, by the way, showing neutral momentum. Short interest declined to about 14,850 shares, which is about 2.27% of the float. I'm looking for an entry today, which I don't think there is. I think this is just a bounce back from yesterday, unless anybody else has anything. So I'm just quickly looking over here. This company, by the way, holding company engaged in the substructure works business, mainly engaged in site formation, ground investigation. Foundation works business as a subcontractor, also provides construction services as structural steelworks, advisory, and supervision services in the structure projects. Okay, a lot of structures there, but not anything from today. So my speculation is that it's retracing a little bit. We're not even close to that $60 area. I think we're intraday. We're about 44 bucks right now. The ticker is PHOE for anybody looking to follow along. PHOE. Halted to the upside, 39.60, up 125%. About 163,000 shares of volume traded on the day. So that's all I've got on it personally. So yeah. Shout out to Mark Perkins, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. Your thought on NAC. Have a look at NAC. This is going to lose the bid, isn't it? Yeah. All right, let's look at NAK. All right, so that's a daily, very consolidative as of late. Certainly some, tops there at 2 1/3. Looks like maybe some 225 sellers. For the most part, you have outsized days that move into the 60s, 70s. But when you zoom out, definitely that higher low trend really does stand out at you, save and except for, it looks like maybe A news catalyst came in late July, sent this one down, lost $1, was quickly able to recover, and since that time, putting higher lows. This is NAK for those following along. Intraday, we'll have to wait for this one to load. Yeah, very light on volume on the day, about 5.1 million shares. You can just see it's sparsely traded looking at the price action on the chart. Definitely on the way back to VWAP here. Nothing for me intraday. I don't have any opinions or trades or advice intraday, but I do really like it from the daily perspective. It looks fantastic there with that higher low, higher low, higher low. And you're almost getting kind of a parallel trend as well to the upside for the most part. You're able to draw a very, very parallel trend line there. So I would say trade it within the range, but save a piece for the dream if you're swinging for these outsized days, which definitely do retrace above that upper trend line, but it's quick to recover below it. So interesting look here on NAC, Joey.
Yeah, Roadrunner. That actually made me chuckle. I don't know why. But you want to read what Roadrunner
Roadrunner. Let me have a quick look there, Joey. I'm not looking. Loser TV Live. Oh, thanks, bro.
I know. Like, come on, bro. Dude. It's because, man, you obviously, you know why I'm laughing at the end of the day, Sharif. Yeah.
All right, bro.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Have a good day.
All right, bro, is right. To each their own, brother. I mean, here it is. Silver. I think we're going to get involved to the short side here, guys. I like our risk profiles. We're consistently making these lower highs, and then we're starting to pick up. Look at the tape as well, guys. Keep it focused on that tape. It is really, really weak. So as long as we hold this downtrend, maybe we can go and test this LOD, and that's going to be a nice little trade. So we'll take a second attempt. This is going to be our second attempt on the short in silver. So yeah, we're going to.
You're still giggling.
Me? Yeah, because, well, I mean, bro. Oh no.
He's more like a live TV loser.
Yeah, exactly. He's watching us, Sharif, at the end of the day. Oh, nice little pop there at the end.
Get him, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's funny. It's like, bro, you're watching us. We ain't watching you. So, yeah, I mean, there it is. All right, let's get involved on this silver here to the downside, guys. We made a little bit of a hockey error as I punched in the long. We wanted to go short on this one. We're out at 78 if it cracks that, but I don't think it's going to, ladies and gentlemen. Loser TV Live, where, my friend? We're starting to put on a little bit of a winner. This is Winner TV Live.
Attaboy, Joey.
Yeah, get him. Get them. As we made a little bit of a mistake, we get out and we get into the exact same thing in which we wanted to do. So you can see that we are short some silver. We want to test 76.60. So that's just some stuff that a hockey player would say. Yeah, absolutely meaningless. I remember my one buddy would just call everybody a hot dog. It's the worst trip in the world, but it was just hilarious just calling everybody a hot dog. So let's go on SLV. Let's see if we can get that move to the downside. A clean flush as quick as you'd like. And we're going to try to hold this for the break of that specific zone. We'll head back over to that PayPal trade. As it's not really doing too much, but Tesla down to 419.28. So a pretty good trade so far on SLV.
All right, Joey, we're in here into TIRX. Now this one is sub $1, but it's breaking structure. So here's why I'm lured into it. So this one, let me put in the ticker so you guys can follow along. This one kept, putting in lower highs. Oh, embarrassing. We'll wait for this one to load. Come on, Turks. There we go. It kept breaking lower and lower and lower. TIRX is the ticker. There we go. And this is kind of what I see there. Now, I'm late to the party, but I'm kind of looking for a continuation possibly back into that 28, 29 penny area. I'm going to stop out below 21. So if it breaks this area here, I'm out. Simple as that. We're going to put some beak wetters in the 26 and 27. It's up 210%, but nothing else is really setting up here, Joe. So that's kind of why I'm looking at TIRX. We'll see if this one's going to treat me badly. It is already treating me badly. We're already out of the money by half a penny. But when you're trading in 24 penny land, half a penny does make a difference. So keeping an eye on that. And looking for a move possibly into 25. We'll set some beak wetters as well at 26 because that's where the majority of the closing prints all found resistance. There was only one candle that breached at 26 penny area, and that was the 11:15 candle that pushed us into that 29.96 high a day. Again, anything below 21 ends the trade for me. So keep an eye out on that. Any other news items, any other catalysts you guys want to talk about? Tag myself or Joe in the chat. If there are any small cap gappers as well, I'd love to know no bottom. USAR is heading down and heading down aggressively. By the way, if you guys can secure shorts on this, I'm not sure what the short situation is, whether you got to find locates or whether it's easy to borrow on your platform. But this looks like a monster double top off that 26 area. I think that the confirmation would be the break of that area low at 1130, the low of which is 2490. So that would kind of be the neckline for the double top. But yeah, this one is really bleeding here, Joey. What's up?
Yeah, silver is absolutely tanking right now, guys. We got in at the right time. I mean, 77.48. It's now trading at 75 there, roughly. So a nice move to the day. Yeah, my days is right on this one on SLV. So yeah, a big time move to the downside in silver, guys. I'm now sitting on approximately, I believe, 50% of my position. So that's been a nice little move for us so far in SLV. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly 50%. Let's see if we can rock and roll and head a little bit lower. Where's that gap fill, which I was talking about earlier, to see if we're going to fill that specific zone? If we bounce aggressively off of this $76 mark, Sharif was talking about this earlier, but I think we can head into 70. This is what you're talking about. Yeah. We almost got there, but then we found a little bit of a bounce just before Sharif, but then we curl right over, and then the momentum really started to pick up. That VWAP crack is where I wanted to get involved with, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So I think a potential target here could be around 75.25, and you can see the momentum and the volume on the higher time frame. If you head over to the LTF as well, you can see it really start to stair step higher and pick up to the downside. So there goes silver, IO silver, to the downside. Do we take a little bit more off? No, we'll wait for 75.5, considering we only have 50% of the position remaining. Very good play, dude. Nice confidence and conviction, says my boy Craig. I appreciate that very much. Where's Buddy over there? What was his name?
Buddy?
Yeah,
Who's Buddy?
Yeah, Trader. Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave that. We don't want to give them too much attention there, Sharif.
Oh. Mr. Loser TV?
Yeah, Loser TV Live. I don't know about this one. That's pretty quick, man. We got in right at the right time, so we're fortunate enough to be sitting in that 75.50. Let's see if we can get that sustained bounce here, or sorry, that sustained move in SLV. The TQ is still moving lower. We've cracked that 420 mark on Tesla, 418.85. So watch out, guys, as the blood continues to bleed, I guess, as they would say. I don't know if that makes too much sense, Street, but I got to take a look at my boy CrowdStrike down to 417 bucks. Are we still holding on to the Trilly Club in Walmart? Absolutely, as we climb up. Oh my days.
Walmart's him right now.
Yeah, it is that guy, man. Yeah. Staples Walmart's definitely in play. Bro. With that being said, Sharif, thanks for reminding me, brother.
Sir.
Let's pull that up. You know what time it is?
I know.
What time is it?
I have no idea.
Oh, time for the top performing sectors of the day, man. I thought you had that one.
He always gets us.
Hold on, we'll hit this one. Done. All right, energy sector, 2.5% right there. Consumer staples, 2%, guys. The mats up 2% as well too. Keep an eye out for that one. But hey, listen, it's either feast or famine in the tech sector. You're down 3%. You are
get it, Joey.
Dead last. You know what Ricky Bobby's dad said, Sharif?
What?
If you're not first, you're last, buddy.
Yeah.
So there it is. Technology sector sitting in that 3%, down 3%. Communication services down 1.5%. Financials down 1% as well.
I like Will Ferrell, man.
He's hilarious.
You know what? His cameo in Wedding Crashers, it lives in my head rent free. He had like all of like, I don't know, 20 lines, 30 lines.
Yeah.
Do you remember when, what's his name? What's his name? Owen Wilson? The blonde guy from Owen Wilson. Yeah, he goes to him after that guy gets shacked up with the stage 4 clinger. And then he's trying to like find, a buddy that he can go out and kind of crash weddings with. And he knows like he used to be his old buddy's kind of partner, right? So he goes over to his place and he's like, the other guy's getting married. So, I definitely need somebody to help me out. And that right there was, sorry guys, I'm trying to take print. So I'm not saying the story that good. But this is absolutely breaking out right now. Turks. TIRX really taking it out to the high side. Sorry, guys, I wasn't able to concentrate on that story. So I was trying to take prints, but here we go.
Prints matter more, my boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you got, Joey? Show 'em.
Same thing, man. I mean, we waited for that 75.50 mark there. 77, $2 right there. We hit the bang right there. What happened? Mom the meatloaf. Yeah, Mom the meatloaf. That's Joe.
I never know what she's doing back there. It's so good.
That's crazy.
He lives in my head rent free, man. That was one of hell of a cameo appearance.
Oh my God, silver is really starting to tank. I hope
BTC's getting wrecked.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Oh, we're gonna break through 75, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
We're on the way below 75,
I didn't
Joe.
even hear what was for lunch. I see Neil eating.
Who cares? We're
right
for
now.
lunch
What do
right
we
now,
got
man.
right
I'm getting
there?
rinsed on my BTC
It looks like
trade.
noodle. I seen something hilarious. A ramen noodle truck
Man.
got into an accident and it lost all its inventory, and it was a total hit of around $38 for the company.
What's happening? I'm so confused right
Because
now.
ramen noodles cheap, right? Like so. They
Got it. My bad.
They lost 38 bucks. Anyways, it's it's the crunchy one. I mean, remember back in
Is this a real story that you're telling me?
No, it's obviously not real whatsoever.
Wow.
I remember back in high school. Did you ever, or in elementary school as well too, did you take like the raw Mr. Noodle, crush it up, just put it up on the thing?
Absolutely, with the thing.
pack, yeah.
No question about it, man. No question. If you didn't, what were you doing?
Yeah, what were you doing if you weren't doing that? That's for sure. And if you had the beef, it sucked to be you because everyone wanted the chicken one. So I hated the beef one, and I still to this day we're gonna stick.
So
with that
good.
chicken.
What do you mean, bro?
You like the beef? You're gonna take the beef over the chicken?
We're taking beef right now, my boy. There goes I'm just going to call this tricks, even though it's not tricks. TIRX into 28, 29.96 high, guys. Watch out for the selling into the area high. We got 24s on. We're doing it live. This one did break structure, which is the reason why I weaseled in. Let me make my case to you guys. I'm just going to show it over here. There it is. Lower high, lower high, lower high. And then all hell breaks loose to the high side. And that's why we're participating. Stop making me laugh. I'm trying to analyze. You're killing me today, man. Anyway.
Loser TV live, man.
Chaz. Yes, War Dog. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Chaz. He's so good. He crashed funerals, Joey. He didn't care. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to get the job done. Why are you laughing?
That guy, man. I just find that stuff so
I'm losing my mind right now.
Yeah, Loser TV.
Anyway, we're having a good time. You guys are having a good time with us in the chat. I appreciate you guys for entertaining us here. We're taking prints here on TIRX, up 256%, but certainly getting some resistance. Now, this concerns me because it's 28 penny high. We know that it was a 29 penny high earlier, so I am on the lookout for that double top. More pleased I would not be if this was able to take out that 30 penny area. But let me tell you something. Anything below 24 pennies, your boy is gonzino, because that was the area that was resistance and it cleared. If it doesn't hold a support, I want nothing to do with it. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on there. Joe.
All right, man. Good stuff. Yeah, we're having a good time here today for sure. If you haven't hit that, he's got me losing my concentration. Sorry, Buffalo.
Yeah, me too,
yeah,
bro.
I know,
This
man.
is your fault today.
Hey, listen, it is all my fault, and I'll accept all blame. But at the end of the day, I'm giggling. I'm having a good time, man. People are making me laugh, and I love that type of humor. That's just my style, dry stuff. And it was something I would say, to be honest with you, man. Yeah. It's something I would say. But aside from that, guys, I don't even have the chat up. Do us you know what time it is, right?
What time is it, Joey?
Full head of hair there too, man. That is crazy stuff,
grow
man.
that back,
yeah.
boy.
Well, I mean,
Grow
we
that
got to
back.
make a little trip.
Grow
First, my boy. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but no.
Turkey's
seriously.
beautiful in the summer, I heard, man.
Thanks, Obi. I appreciate you. Bro.
Istanbul.
Yeah, I heard it's really
It's
great,
sick.
man.
It's
I
next level.
want to go check that stuff out, man. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Our boy Obi in the chat as well.
Obi.
Nice little short there on SL.
Obi? Oh, it is Obi.
It's the only one what other Obi do you know?
I don't know, man. I thought maybe an Obi weaseled in or something, an
appreciate that,
imposter.
brother.
Who knows?
He put on some banger trades as well too. But you know who else has probably got some smackers on today? That's going to be Dara.
What I want to talk about right now is about Intel, which is smacking shorts in the face as it pushes higher. CEO Lip-Bu Tan making some comments here at a Cisco event saying that he believes that the company will be seeing volume commitment in the second half of this year, but they're not going to announce the customer as of yet. He also said that customers, generally speaking, are expressing interest in 18A. So some cool comments from Lip-Bu Tan, CEO of Intel, at an event held by Cisco. Back to you.
Good stuff. Yeah, man, I don't got anything else, Sharif. You know we've been sitting in this PayPal throughout the day. What's up, Randy? And then sure enough, we got the silver. We're starting to find somewhat of a rebound here, guys. Let's see how much this bounce is going to be sustained. Gore, this is something we obviously want to keep an eye out on. We'll do one more thing before we send it back to my boy to the right of me, is that we're going to pull up the tracker, considering we're speaking of OB, right? Like, we may as well just pull it up to see how everyone's doing. And this is live. We're going to hit the refresh on this one to see what we got going on. Am I sliding? I'm still in that fourth place, only 1.86%. But OB, a staggering 27 and almost a third percent. Our poor boy Sean sitting in 11th place there. Feast or famine down 13% right there, Sharif. I leapfrogged you, my boy. Watch out, you were beating me earlier. You're down 2.3%, but not too bad. Adara sitting in about an 8 1/4 right there. So good.
Oh, baby. All right. Keeping an eye here on TIRX, rejecting 27 for now. It did weasel up to 28 earlier, but it seems to be putting in some lower highs, on the 1 minute chart. So keeping an eye on that micro pullback. No immediate plans to add any more at this level. As I mentioned, it loses 24. I'm out, but I'm looking for a continuation into possibly 30 pennies, just trying to pack the patience and try not to take out too much too quickly here on TIRX, up 253%. So nothing to sneeze at. Just taking my time. PHOE, I'm seeing is halted again. You guys were asking about that monster. PHOE, let's see, is it halted down or up? Just give me 1 second over here. The halt is at 26.42. It's not immediately loading up on my chart, so we'll have to get back to you guys on that when we get back from the big desk.
Talk about GeoOGL again. We're 1 day away now from their earnings report. I am seeing reports suggesting that the company is planning a big expansion in India, given U.S. visa restrictions. Again, with the U.S. restricting these visas, Alphabet reportedly deciding to expand into India. Maybe we'll get more news from this tomorrow when they report earnings just over 24 hours from now. Back to you.
Ooh, good stuff, good stuff. I'm going to pull something up here, even though I don't really want to do that, but hey, it is what it is. We'll hold on to it. How much do I have approximately? I wanted to see from a percentage standpoint on how much I have on silver. Not much left there, guys. About 15% or so, as PayPal is looking like it wants to head towards the downside. Maybe we take a little bit more out if we have a new low day established. So this thing is continuing to bleed, guys. With the overall market, you're down 19.8%. You're going to tap into that 20% here momentarily. We'll piece a little bit out here on PYPL, and then, yeah, there it is. We're officially green on the session.
Hey.
So there it is. I mean, it only took a couple opportunities. I talked about the silver trade working relatively well for us, so that really picked up the momentum. So it's been not too bad of a session whatsoever. We go 1 for 2 on PayPal, and we hold this for the nice move down. So a nice look there. And silver, especially if we crack 75 on silver, we're Gucci. We're still going to look for some more opportunities.
All right, sounds good, Joey. Keeping an eye here on USAR, trying to work my way into this one. A bit of a consolidative phase. All the while, criminal CRML is putting in some higher lows. You're not immediately seeing that, though, on USAR, which is kind of stuck with the seller at 80, give or take. NPT, why do you guys keep asking me about that? It's not loading up on my charts. I have no idea why this is taking so long to load. I'm waiting for it to load.
Oh.
All right, NPT, come on, bro, let's go. All right, we're waiting. Here we go. Maybe it'll load. No, it's not loading. I can't analyze NPT if I can't see it, so I'll have to get back to you on that one, Fluffy. I apologize. It's just not loading up on my charts. Keeping an eye, though, on TIRX, looking for a move back up. Put my stop through 24. I gave it a little bit of room, like 23 and change, just so that I don't get wicked out, but that's the situation there. It's finding a little bit of support here. It's still above the 10 EMA, which I like, the fact that the 10 EMA is above that 24 penny level. So we'll keep tabs on that. Also looking at USAR for a move back up into the mid 80s. It looks like it is, finding some resistance, 75, 85. There seems to be a seller in and around there. It hasn't immediately worked its way back into 26 with a 26.22 high. If VWAP is below the $0.25, what do we have on? We have 74s right now showing me 68s. So let's go ahead and post a little bit above this level so we can catch some price spikes up if they do come. Yes, NPT loaded. Sorry about that, Fluffsters. I had to wait for this one to load. Okay, here we go. So NPT, south of VWAP, basically all morning, right? Except for, that 805 yeah, it was basically an 805 price spike up, all the way up. That's real, by the way, up to $30. Retraces all the way back down. Looks like the closing print yesterday was 5 2/3. VWAP for this one was about $9.11. Looks like it's finding a bit of a double top here at $10, give or take 10.09, and then $10. So prior bar high 10.09, current bar high 10. We also have this area here, the failed breach of VWAP. GXAI is losing it in a hurry, guys. Watch out, flat bottom break on GXAI. I'm seeing that one bleed. Be careful. So this area over here, a 948, 980, 966. Okay, so we did take out this area high. So now we have higher lows relative to this area low a little higher, and now we have higher highs. Alas, you know, this one looks like it needs a lot more to get up into this, into the, 15, 14 area where we closed and opened on these two candles, and then you're definitely going to be contending with some bag holders over here on that 8 a.m. price spike. And the reason I say that is this candle has, these candles over here in the pre-market did far more volume than we're doing right now. By way of example, the prior bar, the 1250 candle, has 225,000 shares that traded hands. Take a look at this 805 candle, 929,000 shares. So you definitely did more volume here, which means that you could have bag holders all the way up until, yeah, well, you guessed it, $30. But I'm willing to bet the majority are going to be south of 15. Let's see if it can clear out that double top at $10, the one that we're currently involved in right now. They're both basically inverse hammer candles, topping tail candles on NPT. But thank you for pointing this one out. Definitely not one that I'm immediately interested in, just based upon its price action, but one that I will keep an eye on to see if we can kind of finagle some trades on this one. I'm going to take off GXAI and replace it with NPT, as GXAI has lost the volume weighted average price and of no interest to me. So keeping an eye on that. And then just quickly, let's see how we're doing on TRIX. Still south of 26, but looking like we're trying to put in a 27 break. We'll keep this under watch, and we'll send you to the big desk with news.
So to let you guys know here, INTC, more comments coming from Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan, and this one is pretty significant. Lip-Bu Tan saying that knowledgeable people have told him that the U.S. is behind China now when it comes to open source AI. Now, Lip-Bu Tan in the past has been accused of being sympathetic to China, I'll put it that way, with regards to some of his holdings. Regardless, though, CEO Lip-Bu Tan of Intel said that he's being told by knowledgeable people that the U.S. is behind China on open source AI. He also said they've got a couple customers knocking on their door, quote unquote, after their 18A process tech is doing well so far. Also saying that if there is any slowdown from the company this year, it's going to come from the memory space. Again, speaking at the Cisco AI Summit, I've seen some comments as well from Nvidia's CEO, Jensen Huang. Nothing market moving or super of interest, but just be aware he is talking, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll keep tabs on that. Intel still positive on the day, up 0.39. Not much positive today, though, guys, in the world of semiconductors, microchips. Most of them are negative on my watch list, save it except for SanDisk and Western Digital. So we'll keep tabs on that. USAR coming right back down into that 25.5. I've got 25 3/4. All right, back up to 60. I don't know, man. I'm not liking the look of this one's pattern. At the moment, it feels like a very thick trade into that, 3/4, 2/3 of a dollar. So I'm going to give this one a little bit more room, but definitely not going to add at these levels. NPT just took out some levels. So NPT on the move up, 77%. Is this on the NQ? There we go. Yeah, there we go. So 1029 high, showing some support here at 1011. There's a buyer in the low 10s. It's taking out highs right into 29. There's 35, 37, 42. NPT's breaking out right now as we speak. Let's see if this is going to halt up. Great move here for NPT. Let's see if it drops back into the $0.50 and whether there are buyers there right into that $0.50, showing 69. Let's see if we can get something in and around. It's not even letting me in. It's going to halt over here. NPT's breaking out. Let's see. Do we get a $0.50 move? Yup, losing the $0.50. Can we retrace above the $0.50? Quick as you like. Is there a buyer there at the $0.50? Yes, there is. So let's see if we can kind of get something up here. in the 82s. Anything below the $0.50 will just stop out, so we'll risk about 15 pennies or so. There it goes into the high 87s. We got 75. Looks like there's some selling, though, into the high 80s. Let's keep a watch on this one. NPT's breaking out, Joe. I'm going to have to send it to you.
Absolutely, man. PayPal. I'm just talking to our boy Obi in the chat as he's chiming in. Guys, listen to what he has to say. Most definitely in what shorts he's got cooking up. Walmart up to 127 smackers. We'll take that. I was going to say, Obi, check this PayPal out, my brother. I mean, we were in this from, what is this, approximately 42.83. We're now down to 41.67. And all-day faders on this one now down 20.4%. Let's see if we can get the continuation in SLV. 76 is going to be a key mark. If we crack 76 on SLV, then I think we can head into that 75 mark, which we're going to take the majority of our position off. I mean, we would like to catch $3 ITM on that one, but we know with silver, buyers can step in at any given moment. I do like what Michael Noss was saying the other day as well, too, is that people are a little bit gun shy right now, and understandably so. We're not going to complain about that whatsoever. Appreciate that, Obi, on PayPal. And I was telling everyone earlier this morning, for me, it's like a little less shares to hold on for bigger moves, right? And if you're fortunate enough to catch it, then it's just more at ease for me personally. That's just my style. And then you just slowly increase it. That is the overall objective with PayPal. So now down 20.4%. Walmart looking like it's finding a top. And let's head over to the daily on WMT, and then we'll run through a couple more staples as well. Woo, that is a big time move, man. 116 up to 127. Was just talking with Mateo back there. He said my boy doesn't like Walmart. I'm like, well, my brother, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. He's talking about, this is what General Mills as a potential buy. General Mills.
Yeah, no, I'm playing. I know who they
are. Oh, yeah. So there it is. I mean, look, downtrend potentially break here in wow, okay, this has not been performing. Mateo, my friend, we got to look at where you are in the rankings with this kind of pick over there, but no.
I'm going to crap on Mateo.
No, that's so Mateo's my hockey boy. Mateo's my hockey boy. You know what I mean?
I know, man.
40% down from that top there, guys, in General Mills. So, I mean, we're doing pretty good so far as Walmart continues to climb. We're getting the blood to continue bleeding here in PayPal. And then if we get that 75 break and 75.5 break in silver, then we're good to go, brother.
All right, getting in and out here of NPT, another new high, 1098. Good strength on this one, trying to get a little bit more. It's not immediately letting me in, man, because of the spread. It does open up at times. So I did try to put an order there in the 40s. I didn't get filled. I got 56s, showing me 61 now. So a little annoying that I didn't get the best price and reload. Back into the 70s we go. NPT, zigging, zagging. It's got resistance at 11 because it's got a 1098 high a day. That's the official high, but obviously, if you look into the pre-market, a big difference. So we're going to keep tabs on that. We'll let you know what's good. We're going up to the big desk.
More comments here coming from Lip Bhutan. These are getting more interesting and more interesting as he continues to speak. Again, this is the CEO of INTC saying that the company will be building GPUs in the future. Also talking a little bit more about the Chinese tech industry, because he did just say earlier that the U.S. is now behind China when it comes to open source AI. What he said here was that the China tech industry has a poor man's lead in AI despite the lack of key chip making tools. I think by far the more interesting part of these comments, though, is Lip Bhutan saying that Intel will build GPUs in the future. I just saw a TSLA headline as well. I'll pull this up. Written testimony for the Senate apparently says that Tesla's going to be telling the Senate Commerce Committee on Wednesday that Congress must modernize self-driving car regulations. So it looks like they're going to be speaking in front of the Senate. If I get more details on that, I'll let you know as well. But it looks like their written testimony's out at just after 1 p.m. Back to you.
All right, yeah, so that's what we got going on. We did get that 75.5 mark on SLV there, guys. So we get a bounce off of that. If we can crack and head into 75, we're going to take a little bit more off, but you can see the bounce being somewhat sustained right here. And then you get that move into 41.62. I have one out left on PayPal. We may as well take it now. If we continue to move, you're down 20.5% on today's session. What more can we really ask for? So let's hop out. We're all out of PayPal right there. Now we're only in that SLV short. So that's been a pretty good one for us so far, Sharif. I moved from approximately 1033 this morning all the way to 105, so we're not going to complain. Zen Zombie, LIMN, Lumen. Let's see what we got going on, LIMN. Luminous Pharmaceuticals. Okay, 81 cents. Maybe Sharif swirled a little bit, but I know he doesn't like biotech too much either. I'm not the biggest fan of this. Come on, start cooperating a little bit more. From a daily perspective, you're getting that big time break, right? Like, this is what you want to look for. Volume really starting to uptick, but there is a steady downtrend. And the more you zoom out, I heard Neil saying this earlier today, the more you zoom out, you want it to either get pretty or it's really, really ugly. You're down 96% from that previous $33 high.
Sorry, just give me a second.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to work into this NPT trade. Just allow me to.
MPC, what does that even mean?
NPT.
I know NPT, but NPC is like
non-player character. I don't even know that. I don't even know why I know that because like the kids say
I don't really understand it though. Like, what is a non-player?
So it's like, you know, when you're playing the video game and there's characters in there that don't have a role in the game, but they're just background characters.
Oh, okay. There's not like an actual person playing.
It's a slight. You're slighting somebody. You're just basically you're so unimportant that you're like an NPC.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
I'm zigging and zagging over here with this NPT. I'm getting prints above 50, but it's really not continuing that well. So I am kind of concerned. Got 40s on. Show me 53s. So we're in the money on this one, but. Not readily apparent whether this is going to be a good one or not. We've got definitely lower high trend that's unbroken, but we are also putting in some higher lows. So let's see where the buyers are stepping in, packing my patience on this one. Separately, finally, USAR giving me something to be happy about over here. Let's take out a couple of prints on this one, looking for continuation back into 26. There is the 80s on USAR. What do we have? We have 72s, and we have a good position on this one as well. So let's see if we can kind of work back into some profitability. We were positive on this one, went negative because I had a couple of boneheaded trades, but hopefully we'll make it back up. Back to NPT, showing me 60s now. We've got 40s on. Looking for a big price spike up here, man, on NPT. Take out some of my levels. There's 64, 70, 80, go. Let's go. All right, into the 80s we go. We've got size on this one as well. So we're watching 73 now. Good move. I've got 30s on now. 76, 77, 80. Give me that money, bro. There we go. We're letting that one go, and we're going to see where this one's going to take us into the high. We've got 30s on. Here comes 11. There's 98s. Let's see if we can get up into 11. Not taking any more out here. Let's see if we can get that price spike into the $11, $11.21. Joey freaking options. Let's let this one run. Here we go. NPT is doing it live. 11.15 now showing up. Still below, that 21 penny high. 19 showing up. 20s. Let's see if we can get that 20 seller. Oh, they killed him, Joe. Oh, we're up into 28s now.
Done, man.
It's done. All right. Let's take it out here, and then we'll set up a little bit better next time. So good luck, man, on MPT. That was an aggressive ad campaign, an aggressive beak wetting campaign. Good luck here, keeping an eye on this one. Now, let's look at the other one. USAR into 95. We've got 69er on this one, and we got shares on this one as well. Let's take them out here in anticipation of a 26 break. Wetting the beak here, because, well, we've rejected 26 multiple times. So I'm going to set up a little bit differently on this one. Back to very positive on the day. Very happy. Took big positions on USAR, big positions on NPT. Typically, I don't take big positions on the show, as you know, but we did here, and we were rewarded for it. So happy about that. Let's continue to watch whether this one can do a little bit more. Joey, we're like 10 minutes late on the news, man.
Oh,
see how good to go?
Minutes.
All right. So. Oh, hit that. Yeah, one more, because I didn't even feel it. There we go. There we go.
Doesn't that just get you amped up?
I like it, man.
Yeah, man.
I also like the Rock's entry as well, because, like, if you smell
Rock's
the Rock.
So corny, man.
All right, you just don't like the people's elbow.
Yeah,
you can't say he's not charismatic AF.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
I've never said that, but I mean, yeah, we'll stick with Steve Austin, and then we obviously got Kurt Angle's USAR.
Oh. He had the gift of the gab, and he was physically talented.
Who?
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, he could do both.
Yeah.
But, you know,
thanks.
I hope, he went through some stuff there. I hope he's doing a lot better. Man. So good luck.
Kurt Angle?
Yeah, well, a lot of those guys
that one Kurt Angle
did go through the substance abuse issue because of the pain. Yeah, he had a lot of neck pain too. So, you know, tough.
Yeah, man, those guys are athletes. Don't get it twisted, and they're doing wild stunts. Like it's almost inevitable that you're going to be continuing.
Well, exactly.
You know what I mean?
All right, see ya. What are we talking about to start? Hello, by the way.
Hey, so we're starting with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is publicly reaffirming that Nvidia as OpenAI's primary AI chip supplier, calling Nvidia's products the best AI chips in the world. Altman stated that OpenAI is expecting to remain a major Nvidia customer for a very long time. And according to Reuters, OpenAI has been unsatisfied with certain Nvidia chips for inference workloads, which prioritize response speed rather than the training skill. Also, inference workloads require faster memory access, favoring chips with embedded SRAM rather than the external memory. And we know that AMD and Nvidia rely on external memory, which can introduce certain latency for certain real-time applications. And OpenAI additionally has also explored a partnership with Cerebras and Grok for faster inference solutions. And Nvidia has discussed a potential $100 billion investment into OpenAI, though negotiations have been dragging on for months.
Yeah, well, this is exactly it. So we were talking a lot about possible headwinds for Nvidia when it came to ASICs, right? Because we talked about the cost, the use of energy, and sometimes it actually performs a lot better when it's designed for a specific task. And that's what an ASIC is. You know, they, like TPUs, Trainium, they're designing those chips for specific tasks. They're not kind of a multi-tool, but more like a scalpel, right? And so this was the headwind that we've been talking about possibly for NVIDIA. Now we're talking about a different headwind where their chips, because they're sort of, you know, the multi-tool, they're really a lot better at training than as opposed to inference. But that's not, you know, the end of the story. We know NVIDIA has made acquisitions or not acquisitions, but investments, let's call them that, for, what's it called? For, anyway, I'm drawing a blank. The point is, they've licensed Grok's, not GROQ's technology, which basically specializes in ASICs that specialize in inference. We also know that they're looking also with Cerebras. Those are the two companies that really have the best sort of setup at scale, at cost, that deal with inference. So we'll have to see how NVIDIA responds, but this is nothing new. And I remember watching a video of the Mistral CEO at Davos, and this dude was just like tone deaf completely. He's sitting there talking about training models with synthetic data, and like the market's kind of moved on from, you know, the focus to be on training, and more of it now is on inference, because that's how you use that already trained data to specialize your app, right? You're looking for the AI to draw an inference for you for what the best, you know, result, answer, whatever it is. So I feel like NVIDIA already kind of knows this, Joe, and they're taking actions vis-a-vis, for example, the licensing agreement with Grok to do just that. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to hurt them. Here's why. We've seen their products with like mid 70% gross margins, 74.5, 77. Are they able now to maintain those gross margins when they're getting competitors from, you know, Broadcom, Marvell, Grok, Cerebras? All these other competitors are going to be basically launching their own custom ASICs and definitely trying to compete on price, not just performance. So you have to assume a lot of NVIDIA's valuation is based upon sales at a certain gross margin, right?
Yep. I hear what you're saying, and obviously I think there's only one way this can really go. The more competitors that you have to do, and we've seen this within the Chinese EV market, is you just start to undermine each other, and that's obviously going to put a hindrance on the chip and the gross margins at the end of the day. But NVIDIA and Sam Altman are taking the steps in the right direction. I know we talk about that cyclical revenue. They're investing. That Grok deal was around $20 billion. These guys are spending a lot of cash on this AI build-out and the infrastructure, and continue to do so. This isn't going to slow down anytime soon. So with Sam and NVIDIA continuously remaining in bed with each other, watch out. I think this is going to be, it's going to be big. But if any side of the party needs to perform a little bit more, it's obviously going to be Sam Altman and company, because NVIDIA is going to want to see somewhat of an ROI within their investments in OpenAI.
Well, that's a good point. That's like the other side of the coin, right? Again, I want to stress that Sam Altman denied all these all these reports, said he's very happy with Nvidia. But the truth of the matter is we know that there's a shift in focus in the AI industry from training larger models, and some models now are being trained on synthetic data, whatever the hell that means, and more focus on inference, and that's really, inference is gonna be how you build your apps to take advantage of all that trained data. So I don't think this story is off base in the general sense. Maybe it's off base in the sense that Altman didn't say that or doesn't feel that, but we already know where AI is heading, and it's gonna be a world based on inference, really not training anymore, at least for the most part. See ya.
Next up, we have Google Cloud and Liberty Global have agreed to a 5-year strategic partnership to deploy Google's Gemini AI models and cloud tools across Liberty's European operations. So what this will entitle will be Liberty Global will be planning to use Google's cloud tools to improve network stability, security, and automation. And Google Cloud may also gain access to spare capacity in Liberty's data centers. Liberty will also be distributing more Google hardware products such as Google Pixel phones, watches, and smart home devices through its European operating units. And the companies will jointly target small and medium-sized businesses with bundled account cybersecurity and AI services. The CEO of Liberty Global, Mike Fry, said that our expanded partnership with Google Cloud represents a significant milestone for Liberty Global.
So I like this. This, to me, is less a tech deal, even though I realize that there's a lot of tech being announced in this, and more of like a business-to-business deal. I was asking Brendo, I'm like, Liberty Global is the company that has F1, right? And that's exactly what it is. And then when you look basically at some of the expanded product and strategy, Liberty will distribute more Google hardware products, including, you know, the Pixel, so that'll be at the F1 events, watches, smart home devices, all through its European operating units. And you feel like this is more of, you know, just a corporate partnership at the level for exposure. And I don't really mind that. Obviously, Google's going to enable a lot of their technology with cloud for Liberty, and that's great. You know, they have an $80 million fixed mobile and connections across Europe. Apparently, Liberty marking a meaningful enterprise-scale AI deployment. But I don't think there is anything novel in the Google Cloud offering that they're making for Liberty. Nothing that we haven't heard of before, and nothing really that was announced new. So to me, it's just a business-to-business deal, more probably for marketing purposes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but it's good for Google, right? Like expanding cloud. We already knew that Azure came in a little bit of a miss. This isn't going to be priced in or anything along those lines with this earnings report, but what is it going to have for the next quarter? I think that Google's taking steps in the right direction. I mean, we talk about AWS, we talk about cloud growth in general. I think Google is definitely going to continue to lead the way, and they're just taking monster strides. It doesn't even matter what the sector is. Google Cloud, Google Search, and Gemini leapfrogging OpenAI. I think Google continues on this trajectory, and if they expand their customer base like they're doing right now with Liberty, then sure enough, watch out for Google to really, really dominate. And who knows what's going to happen in the coming time? We continuously sell. It's going to be the highest market capitalization company in the stock.
Yeah, and I called that last year, bro. Yeah. I told you guys it was going to take Apple.
Only a matter of time.
And here's what they're offering them. They're going to use they're going to use Google Cloud for network reliability, security, and automation towards the goal, apparently, according to the article, is autonomous network operations. So nothing new that we really haven't heard before. And, you know, I think it's just another deal that Google Cloud has picked up. So it's fantastic from that revenue generating perspective, but I don't personally take anything novel from it. See ya.
Yep, next up we have Tesla has launched its cheaper Model Y AWD amid certain sale pressure, and it unveiled in Puerto Rico that is priced at $41,990, undercutting prior AWD offerings. And the new variant offers an EPA of 294 miles, estimated range of 294 miles, and includes a 30-day free trial of the full self-driving. And Tesla's VP of Finance, Sendil Palani, highlighted AWD's importance for family buyers in cold climates, positioning the new Model Y as the lowest priced AWD Tesla ever, which will be sold in North America. Tesla also reiterated the availability of a 7-seat Model Y in the U.S. at $51,490, which is exclusive and premium AWD trim, with an additional $2,500 for the third row and the larger touchscreen as we know it. And internationally, the 6-seat Model YL has regained traction in China, prompting plans to introduce it in Europe later this year. So despite certain product updates, Tesla's momentum is pressure. I think it remains pressured. The U.S. Model Y sales were down 20% year over year last year as we know it, and European deliveries declined in December.
So right away, I'm thinking cold weather climate and jurisdictions, Canada, the Rust Belt, in the United States, even New England, all that whole area in the north, they're all going to benefit from this because, most people are buying cars that are either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I personally haven't owned a front-wheel drive car in a long time. All my cars have been all-wheel drive for a long time. And that's because of the climate that we live in. And so I do think that this is possibly needle moving, maybe not huge, for Tesla in the northern states as well as Canada. But I don't think it's going to offset the negative sentiment that Elon currently has here. There's a lot of negative sentiment in Canada against Elon at the moment, and that's being reflected obviously in Tesla sales. But if you're asking me, is this a strategic or does this strategy make sense? Absolutely does make sense. And the fact that it's priced below $42,000, I don't know what it would be in Canadian, is fantastic. 300 miles as well. Also a great look. And the fact that he's continuing these 30 days of FSD to kind of show people how good it is, I think is also good. Obviously, there's a cost-benefit analysis there somewhat. Now, with respect to the 7-seat Model Y, which is a lot more expensive. So we have a $41,990 price tag on the all-wheel drive Model Y. But if you want the 7-seater, you got to pay basically $10,000 more. It's $51,490, right? So if you're looking, if you have a larger family or whatever, you've got to ante up another $10,000. But we also saw a 6-seat Model Y in China. And, we were talking a lot about possibly Tesla using the removal of 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicle imports into Canada to possibly, get some Model Ys there. I wonder if the 6-seat Model Y will weasel its way into Canada. Yeah, and it'll probably be a bit cheaper having been made in Shanghai.
How many vehicles are we allowed? 50,000 of them?
49 for now, yeah.
49.
Yeah, same crap, yeah.
It's 3% of the total adjustable market. We'll get to those momentarily here, but Sharif, one thing that really caught my eye is just the headline of this, and it starts with cheap and ends with cheaper. What is that going to be? Margin compression, something where we already know we're struggling with Tesla. It's losing market share left, right, and center. How is that going to reflect on the earnings report? Obviously not good, because we know that the car business is already low margins. So I'm not in love with this play. And you say it might be a needle mover. I think that it's going to, it might move the dial a little bit, Sharif, but it's not going to turn it to a complete 180 or anything along those lines. It's not good. It's just what I really worry about is the margins, and it's really dwindling. He's continuously losing market share. And what I'm getting at here with Tesla is that, would you be surprised if Elon's like, hey, we're going to throw a lot of this out the window, say in 5-10 years, we're going to throw a lot of this vehicle making out the window and just stick with robotics and robo-taxis?
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right? I can see heading in that trajectory. High margins on the robo-taxi. Huge. Probably pretty good margins on robotics as well, too. If you can advance at an accelerated rate, he might just be like, you know what? We're really going to cut back the dial here on just making the Model Ys and everything.
And I want to build on your point. You bring up a really interesting point there. And remember what his margins were when he was the only game in town.
Yeah.
When he was the one only putting out these electric vehicles en masse, everybody else was, trickling out a few hundred vehicles here and there on the quarter. His margins was whatever he said they were going to be. Whatever. They were mid-20s, I think, high 20s at one point. Now they were mid-teens and dropping. So to build on your point, if he goes into robotics specifically, and he has first mover advantage there, then he's going to be able to dictate the margins like he did.
Once again.
Exactly. I got to like your point a lot.
And then also with the robo-taxi, we just know from a production capability, he can drastically outpace Google's Waymo.
Way more. And way cheaper.
He can spit those things
way
out.
Cheaper, too. It's not even close.
He can spit those things out like there's no tomorrow, essentially, right?
Agree.
Like less components in the vehicle, and it's mainly software updates. Like you're just doing continuous software updates. So I think down the road, I wouldn't be surprised if he started scrapping some of these vehicles.
I wouldn't be surprised either, and I like your take there. Let's get to these super chats just before we go back to Sia. You can do X. Thank you very much, brother, for the $10 super chat. Does it look like the market may turn around? I can't tell. I'm still holding Intel calls for this Friday strike 51. Intel is down to 49 right now. I don't think you're that far off, to be quite honest with you, but let's take a look at INTC. Before you can cover David's, just give me a sec, Joey, to have a look at INTC and what the chart pattern's been saying as of late. That's the 5-minute. Let's go to the intraday. You're holding 51 calls for Friday. Well, we were at 51 this morning, man. 51.49 high. We were just there, well there at earnings. 55.53 high. So that's the local area high. I do like this recovery from earnings, and I think if we weren't down 2% on the Nasdaq, Intel would be up more than 0.18 on the day. So we'll have to see, kind of what the Nasdaq looks like in order to kind of answer that. The Nasdaq is still putting in higher lows and higher highs as opposed to yesterday. So even though we're down 2%, take a look at the Qs. We breached yesterday's high and we're above yesterday's low. Now, mind you, we're below yesterday's close, or yesterday's open, which is about 617 and change. We're about 613 and a half right now. So I think we're still putting in those higher lows on the NQ, whether we cover tomorrow or by Friday in your case. Kind of hard to tell. But I don't know, man. I don't feel Intel is got that too many bad catalysts right now. I know Lip Bhutan is making statements right now about, about open source AI. I don't think that surprised anybody that the Chinese were ahead of the Americans in open source. It's always really been the American model to kind of push closed source. Even Llama 4, which was pseudo open source, really wasn't, because you were only able to use so many tokens through the API before you got blocked. So I don't really find any of that really market moving or, detrimental to the AI trade whatsoever. I think that was the Chinese focus all along. They want to keep it open source. Anyway, David.
Oh, yeah, let's head over to David. Nice little take off the low 75.40s on SLV. Let's go to our boy David Treziak, classic in the chat. Let's see what he's got going up today. Synthetic data is kind of like Karate Kid with the blindfold on training. Don't see AMD getting love tonight. Thank you for that $5.
Thank you, David, for that.
Yeah, a lot of people asking if the market's going to bounce. I think just with us bleeding now, we're almost at 2 o'clock, right? So only about 2.5 hours left in the overall market. Are you going to get that massive rebound? I don't think that's going to be necessarily the case in today's session. Just wait for it tomorrow. It's a brand new day, right? Anything can happen.
Sure. Well said. All right, see ya.
SpaceX and XAI are being combined into a single entity that will be controlled, as you know it, by Elon Musk, valuing the company at $1.25 trillion ahead of its potential IPO. This was described by Elon Musk as a vertically integrated innovation powerhouse. Musk argued that the space-based AI infrastructure could become the lowest cost way to generate AI compute within the next 2 to 3 years, as certain demand for inference and trading is exploding. The announcement also sparked broad interest across publicly traded space names. AST Space Mobile rose about 2.5% pre-market, extending certain recent momentum. And SpaceX was valued at near $800 billion, while XAI recently raised capital at roughly $230 billion valuation. XAI's investor base includes major tech and sovereign capital, while Tesla has committed $2 billion to XAI, further linking Musk's ecosystem. And Reuters estimates SpaceX has generated roughly $8 billion in profit on $15 to $16 billion revenue in 2025, while XAI remains cash burning as it scales certain compute infrastructure. This is big.
This is big, but I feel like it was strategic to kind of take a profitable company, aka SpaceX, and combine it with a non-profitable company and one who's burning through cash to no end, albeit, for good reason. I'm talking about XAI as they continue to scale their data centers, energy costs, water. We all know about, the fiber optics that have to go into there, the umpteen amount of GPUs and CPUs. So very cash heavy is XAI. But, quite frankly, the SpaceX is making 15 to 16 billion in revenue, and that was probably their best year in 2025. Yeah, they have high margins, 8 billion of which, bless you, Neil, is profit. But these are like Palantir-esque, like forward PEs, like 150, 200 forward PE. So a lot of leeway here for SpaceX now. They're not the only, kid on the block anymore. We've seen launch cadence pick up with Astis, Rocket Lab. They're all picking up their launch cadence. They all picked up launch cadence in 25, and now they're scaling even higher in 26. So does that premium valuation for SpaceX continue, even though, competition is starting to pick up a little bit? So that's my first observation. The second observation is, I think the runway here for putting these data centers in space and taking advantage of solar power and cooling, obviously free in the vacuum of space where it's very cold. I don't think that that's a 2-3 year runway, at least not in scale. Maybe he gets something up there by the end of the year, maybe early next year, but definitely not on scale enough, according to analysts, not just myself, to really be a meaningful revenue contribution. So you really need to look down the road for this kind of to manifest. But I do like how he's thinking about vertical integration. All I see here is you're taking one profitable company that's generating revenue with and pairing it with one that isn't, because you don't want it to be super heavy in terms of debt and whatever when you go into an IPO, and that's what I think that's what he's looking for.
I think it strengthens the IPO. And this is this is my opinion, and this is what I'm going to get at here, Sharif, is that the fact that, okay, we know that we have this massive build out right now on AI infrastructure, but what happens when that CapEx really starts to cool down and you have these AI plays starting to really monetize their product? What is that going to mean for margins, right? So you're not spending as much, you're not having that large of a build out, and then you have the paid tier program, you're catching digital ad revenue as well too, which I think can really add margin expansion into this, and then it can be a high marginal product, in my opinion. Once like right now we're just focused on the building and how much we're spending, but what's beyond that horizon when things really start to cool down in the CapEx spend?
You know what I really want to see from SpaceX? I want to see more talk about.
I was referring to XAI.
Yeah. No, but because if it's going to be a combined company, which it now is, according to filings yesterday, what I really want to see is more information about space cellular technology. So we know that, what's it called? Starlink is already doing that on a small scale. We know Apple's investing heavily into that with Globestar or whatever it's called. And I think there's what Astis as well is the one that's doing it. ASTS, right? AST Space Mobile. So what I want to hear more about is this disruptive business. Can you imagine the disruption to the telecom companies if we start getting no requirements for cell towers, and all their customers, basically can just use their phone anywhere? And I want to give you an example. So how I was singing the praise of WestJet's space because they were using Starlink. Well, guess what? I couldn't actually connect my phone to it. For some reason, the 17 doesn't connect, but I had my iPad connected. Hold on, let me get to it. So what I was able to do, believe it or not, from in the middle of nowhere, I was able to actually text people directly using satellites on my phone. It was first. It was emergency. You were able to send emergency text, emergency services, and then with the 17, you're able to send text messages. And what they're saying is the 18 could actually have a direct connection for more than that. Speculative again, right? We don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what I want to hear more about. I want to hear about this disruptive technology.
It's going to be absolutely disruptive, because if you can get
then Verizon and AT&T, they're all short. short.
Exactly. Everyone's short. Well, you got to be first to the race. Like if you don't have a segment within your company saying, hey, this is that new technology, you're going to fall behind. And we know what happens when you fall behind. You eventually go bankrupt, 100%. AKA Blockbuster and
there you
things
go.
like that, right? Kind of a bad example. But at the end of the day, if we don't, even with the Canadian, isn't Rogers starting to get involved with it as well?
They see the writing on the wall, man.
They see what's going to be forward.
But it's absolute crap.
Right now it is.
Yeah.
Right now it is, right? But if you sign some deals with Starlink, ASTS, or something along those lines and kind of just become first in class, then sure enough, you can get an early start on the total addressable market and really get to sway the customers to be like, hey, you know what, we're going to offer you a cheaper service. Like it cost me $110 to use my cell phone in Mexico. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Because you were paying, what, $18 a day?
It was $17 a day. $17 a day just in order for me to use it. But if you have that total, like no matter where you are.
That global.
Exactly. That global exposure, things are really going to start to cool down. And if you don't take advantage of it, you're going to go bankrupt. And we already know that Bell Canada and some of the Canadian telecoms are falling in that realm.
And that's kind of like where I see this going. All right, shout out to Danny's boy. Thank you very much, brother. $5 super chat. Guys, BTC is looking like it's headed to the apocalypse. I know, brother. I know it does not look good.
I haven't even looked at it today.
Oh, it's breaking through 75,000, brother. Let's have a look at this. BTC, where are we at, Katina, man? We're at 74,000. We're in a lot of trouble. If it doesn't hold prior area low, it's at prior area low. Yeah. This is the tariff tantrum. It's already breaking through it, technically. So we have that kind of that area low from the tariff tantrum back in April. Looks like it was the 8th, the 7th, the 4th, all those days there. So not a good look for Bitcoin. We're looking at that area top over here, possibly 70. Yeah, Joe, this is definitely not a good look.
I think we had significantly lower. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets even better. And I know Rusty Dush and I were talking in the chat. He's like, "Hey, dude, we're already down 40%." Well, it's already we've seen on multiple occasions down 70% off the highs.
Ram saying that Astis partnered with Bell. The thing about Ram, the only reason that I would see, one of these space companies partnering with a telecom company is to get access to their already existing members rather than having to build them anew. But you got to feel like, that's maybe just how you get your foot in the door, and then you look to disrupt them. I mean, I don't really see the need to use the telecom companies as a middle person, have them eat up some of your margins when you can go directly to consumer, right? If you're Starlink, you're already doing that vis-a-vis the internet. Why take on a partner when not necessary? So I think they're doing that initially just to kind of get the technology out there, get awareness out there, and then they're just going to disrupt the hell out of them. I was telling my boy Alfred that. I'm like, I want to take a monster short on these telecom companies, but you got to set it up in a strategic way because you can get your face blown off.
And it may take a little bit longer than what
it will. No, this is like 3-4 year runway. Anyway, I think we've kind of stretched this topic thin. Sia, what do we got next?
No worries. Next up, we have Palantir. Palantir has delivered a clear earnings and revenue beat, reporting an EPS of 25 cents versus the 23 cents that was expected, up from 14 cents a year ago. Quarterly revenue reached $1.41 billion, topping expectations of $1.34 billion and rising 70% year over year. CEO Alex Karp has said the results exceeded even our most ambitious expectations. U.S. commercial revenue surged 93% year over year, with overall commercial revenue jumping 137% to $507 million. This marks the standout growth driver in this quarter. Palantir has also continued to benefit from deep defense and intelligence roots, including a new $448 million U.S. Navy contract, which was announced in December of 2025. International revenue has risen 22% year over year, showing steady but certain slow growth outside the U.S.
Oh, man, Joey, just laughing about the rinsing we're taking on Bitcoin, but that's the way it is, guys. NPT is halted up. What a move for NPT, 1260 halt up 121%. This one is him right now. Where is NPT? There it is, halted to the upside. Here's the data. Halt time. 138.19. So the earliest this will be open is 143.19, the earliest. Tap showing 1260, that's the halt level. So we are already halted at 1260. This is NQ, so we'll be able to see the theoretical auction price during the halt. I'll update you guys again on that. Thank you. See it for Palantir. So right away, what stands out to me and something that we've been talking about, I think, for the past year is the accelerating commercial revenue. And you got that, and you got that in spades. You're looking internationally or just globally, 137% year-over-year increase on that commercial revenue. Nationally, within the United States, 93%, now over $500 million. You gotta love that. And they announced a new operating system yesterday. They didn't announce it yesterday. We gave you the story yesterday. It was announced in December. So they have AIP and the name of that one that I can't remember at the moment. Now, I do like the fact that they're continuing to grow government revenue 66% year over year. That top line number still larger than U.S. commercial revenue, $570 million for government, $507 for commercial. And why do I like government still? Because it's stickier, man. Government contracts tend to last longer than commercial contracts, so sticky revenue is predictable revenue and certainly helps you analyze the runway. 41% operating margin in Q4. I would have expected to be a little bit higher since they're basically a software company, but that's not gross margins. I'd like to see what the gross margins are. Typically, they're in the 70s and 80%, which is why they have the insane forward earnings that they do, 145 times, Joseph, forward earnings.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before in Palantir,
Yep.
right? We've seen this before. But Sharif,
Yes, sir.
you know what I've been talking about?
What have you been
for quite
talking
some
about,
time
Joey?
in Palantir, something that was with a little bit of modest growth, 3% here and there, and that is going to be global and, commercial global revenue, and then also government global revenue as well, too, up 77% year over year. That is absolutely massive for Palantir. And then with a respective 55%, and quarter over quarter, guys, we're looking at 22% and 14%. So still growing at a substantial clip here in Palantir. So shout out to Organic Material Seeking Missiles and the Department of Offense, because that's what Alicarp is essentially all about. But no, in all seriousness, those segments growing at a substantial rate as well too in Palantir. I think that's going to be a big part of this company's growth.
Very good point. All right, I'm just going to read some of these comments. Lyndon Meyer, got to short the whole market. The bull flag failed on the IXIC daily chart. We are going to go down deep. Shout out to Lyndon Meyer. I hope not, but you've definitely got.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel like, I think throughout all of 2025, it was buy whatever dip you can get? Right? Like, it was like, oh, you get a 2.5% pullback, buy that sucker hand over fist.
Yeah.
Are you getting the same feels right now, or how do you feel about the buy the dip trade? I'll tell you how I feel. I don't think it's in play right now, considering the returns that we've seen over the latter half of 2024 and 2025. I just don't think that's the scenario and the sentiment that we're currently sitting in. So I'm going to say no to buying the dip for now.
I'm not going to paint with one brush.
Yeah.
I would say with the right companies, you buy the dip, especially the ones that are showing continued momentum
and
with a good tailwind.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to continue to buy my companies that I think are good at the right prices. I'm kind of not going to look to this whole macro thing unless we're definitely breaking structure on the Qs, and I don't think we're seeing that quite yet. Today's obviously a very negative day. It's really easy to kind of view everything with suspicious eyes.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion, but I'm going to continue to buy the companies at the right prices.
No, respectfully so. Guys, put it in the chat. We want to know your feedback as well, too. Are you buying the dip? It's simple. Yes or no. Put it in the chat. Are you guys going to be buying this dip anytime
soon? But it's a little
No?
skewed bias, because when you're asking people that on a 2.5% day, you could ask them that on a 2+% day, and I guarantee you the results would be completely skewed. You're probably going to have more people say no today, but ask them on a 2.5% green day, and then you know what they'd say probably there, right? So think about that. Context matters here.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair, but we're talking about buying the dip. So if you're down 2%, are you going to be buying this, or are you?
It's negative sentiment on the day. You don't think that's going to influence people?
Absolutely. Isn't it supposed to have somewhat of an influence what the market is actually, how the market
I understand, but it's like local sentiment. That's what I was saying. If you get them on a green day and ask them the same question, are they going to have the same sentiment they have currently on a negative day?
Fair enough.
All right, let me just read one more comment. ComputerNet, Sharif, I think for now, there is no technology available for high-speed data through mobile. It requires dish. Low speeds like GPS for email is max data. That's not what I'm hearing, man. I'm hearing that we may be, 1 or 2 years away from just having regular cell phones being able to basically have 5G speeds through satellites. They're saying the low latency, low Earth orbit satellites, like the ones by Starlink, Astis, Globalstar, and the others really are making progress in that technology, but I realize that you are very technology driven, so I'll cede to you for now. Personally, I think that we're probably about maybe 5 years away from mass scale, but that's just a shot in the dark. Anyway, what do we got next to you?
Besides SMCI, AMD will also be reporting its Q4 earnings right after the close today. Wall Street is expecting a revenue of $9.67 billion and an adjusted EPS of $1.32 from analysts' prior estimates of $9.42 billion and EPS of $1.23. HSBC has also reiterated a buy rating and raised its target from $335 to $300, pointing to accelerating magnetic AI demand. The firm sees AMD as a primary beneficiary of AI-driven server CPU growth. What do you have to say?
All right, so I'm looking at two things. Yeah, I realize that the numbers are the most important thing, but one, I want to hear about possible China revenue for the MI455. Do they have any orders? Are they firm? How many? Which companies are asking for them? Which companies are buying? We already got details from Nvidia about ByteDance, Alibaba, there's others. I've heard very little from AMD about their China orders, so I want to hear about that. Second, I want Lisa Su to address the concerns made by the Sam Altman article that we started here with, which is that AMD's chips use external memory. External memory is slower, and as a result, it's not as good for inference. So memories, SRAM, I think they're calling it, which is internal, is a lot better, it's faster, and it's more made for inference. So I want to hear, does she look to address that issue? Is she going to acquire her way out of that in the same way that we saw the licensing agreement between Nvidia and Grok? Who does AMD have in their purview for that, or are they going to address it internally? So those are my kind of constraint or thinking there. And then one last thing, apparently CPUs are still hard to come by through Intel, which are really important for AI servers as well. It's not just GPUs. Apparently, AMD could be able to fill that void as they're not relying on Intel's foundry. They're obviously relying on Taiwan Semi, which has a better supply chain currently than Intel. So I'd like to hear more about that and whether AMD looks to kind of fill the void that Intel can't. Joey, what do you think?
I think it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of expectations here. I mean, data center, we're looking for at 29% year-over-year growth. Consensus estimates are EPS are looking at 22% year-over-year growth. Ryzen CPUs and PCs focus at about 2.9 billion. Gaming, we're looking at around 855 million. That's expected 52% year growth. So high expectations coming here on AMD. And if you miss anywhere, like look what happened to Azure when they missed by 1% on cloud growth. What happens on multiple segments you miss here in AMD and the thing continues to slide. And that's what I'm referring to. Sentiment is key. So if you get a miss in any of these key segments, watch out. You might see a little bit of a downside move here in AMD.
Absolutely agree. Thank you very much, Shyam Bhutani, for the two quid super chat. Appreciate you there. BTC. Don't say that, man. I get rich. BTC to 0. Yes, then % drop in equity and commodity. I don't think either of those things are happening. Hey, you never know, man. Maybe this does go to 0, and I absolutely get rinsed on my position. It is possible.
If it goes to 0,
I don't think it's going to 0.
No many more. Like it's like I'd probably be the happiest person on the planet.
You buy it? You buy the dip on 0?
Dude, everything in my bank account is going in there. If it goes to $1, absolutely everything.
All right. Did you cover AMD?
Yeah, I said I think there's high expectations if you miss, because we know that with cloud and Azure, you miss by 1%. The stock tanks X amount of percent, 7-8%. If you miss on any of these segments leading into this report, agree. I think with the current sentiment, especially with today, I think that the stock might head a little bit lower.
And the expectations have been drifting up a little bit into the print. So if you really miss here,
if you miss, you're in trouble.
Great point. Adira, give us your take on AMD.
I am of the same opinion here. AMD, if they miss, it's going to be pretty rough. I think the more interesting earnings report, probably for a lot of people here, especially retail traders, is going to be SMCI. So I'm going to keep that in mind as well. It's funny how these two always tend to report the same night. That being said, I mean, I was shocked when I looked through last quarter's report. Client and gaming revenue up 73% year over year. Now that, like, way bigger here than the year over year gains for data center revenue. Embedded revenue actually down year over year. So if we can maybe get that up year over year, that could be a good look. I also want to talk here about AMD's data center revenue in more detail. This infographic, as always, can be found on X at TTV Research. But these green bars show the company's quarterly data center revenue in billions, and then you see, of course, this line chart that's going to be their growth. Now, the growth in data center is all over the place. It's just so inconsistent. It's like a little rangy, wavy chart. We'll get up to like over 100% year-over-year data center revenue growth in early 2022. Then we'll start seeing that growth decline once again. In early mid-2023, we were seeing flat year-over-year growth and actually some declines. So yeah, interesting look here for AMD data center revenue. It's worth noting they have not formally reported the sector segment for that long. They only started reporting data center revenue in Q2 of 2022, at least on a formal basis. So relatively new metric, but we did make record highs for the reporting of this metric last quarter. Let's see if Q4 gives us more data center records.
Let's go on to Intel. Intel was, it still is? One of the only names. Nope, it is now negative on the day, down 0.25%. It was positive big. Let's talk about this. Reports are suggesting that Apple, oh, sorry, Sia, we got to go back to Sia. I'm so used to doing it. I apologize, Sia. What do we got next?
I was just waiting, but it's okay, no worries. So, no, you're good. So Intel is rallying on Apple partnership buzz and certain insider buying. So reports are suggesting that Apple is considering a manufacturing partnership with Intel, using Intel's foundry services to produce custom-designed chips. Intel CFO David Zinsner has also disclosed the purchase of 5,882 shares at $42.50, representing roughly a $250,000 personal investment. And Intel shares are up 5% over the last month, extending a recovery that has been driven, I would say, more by narrative shifts than the near-term earnings changes.
This has been Intel's major problem when it comes to their foundry business. They have no anchor client. You need somebody big, like an Apple and Nvidia. Nvidia's passed many times. They went and looked at 18A. They said, no, thank you. 14A, not scalable yet. Ohio's going to get built out. We're talking 2030. So they need an anchor client to look legitimate, right? To show that we're past the turnaround process. Now we've got foundry that is actually producing. Now, one way to do that is to increase your yields. Yields are the percentage of the chips that you're manufacturing that are actually usable. My understanding is they're somewhere in the high 50s, low 60s, a certain improvement from the mid 40s we were talking about last year. That's number one. Number two, if they get Apple, are they going to get them for the M series processors, which Apple specifically removed Intel as their provider for chips and made it internally and gets Taiwan Semi to make them? Or are they going to make them for the A series chips, the ones that are less strong that are in the cell phones? That makes a big difference. Margins, of course, on a more expensive product like the M series chips in laptops will probably be better for Intel. So that's what I want to hear about. I want to hear, are they going to find an anchor client for their foundries and sort of maybe start stair-stepping into more clients? Number two, what's the yield situation? Number three, what kind of chips, if they're going to make them for Apple? Because I want to know about the margins. Joey.
Yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, a lot of details going on here with the Apple M series chips. I mean, M6, M7 for MacBook Air using the 18A and 18P node as early as Q3 of 2027. Obviously, some noise around Apple using the A21 on its 14A processors starting 2028, which can be absolutely interesting. Intel approached Apple for early stage investment and deeper cooperation September 2025. There's a lot going on. That's how I feel about that's good. We talked about the partnership needed for Intel in order for it to really get going. I mean, we've seen it moving with the government investment around 9.99%, whatever it may be, 10%, we'll call it flat. But there's one thing that I want to address. We got a super chat I don't know what it is. I haven't read any of those files, and I'm not going to pay any attention to this. Any real advice that Epstein Files news is affecting BTC price, or is this just a normal correction? Well, we're at 40%. Are we going to call it normal? Absolutely not. It's a little bit extensive. Can it get worse? Absolutely, in my opinion. I was talking to Rusty Dutch. I said we can head probably as low as to a 70% correction off of the lows. 65%. We're definitely going to hit that 50% at this pace, in my opinion. All right, before things cool down. I have no idea about any form of correlation with those files and with Bitcoin. All right, I have no idea, and I could care less. I'm going to stick to what the price action is telling me, and that's moving a little bit lower. We pieced some out there at 75.20 on SLV, so we've been holding that one for quite some time as well.
Attaboy, Joey.
Yeah.
All right, just give me 1 second over here. Adara, what is your take on Intel?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I want to mention here is that I haven't really heard too much more in recent days about this Apple story. And furthermore, the David Zinsner purchase, I just checked, that's from January 27th. So interesting catalyst here for INTC in the longer term, but nothing that is brand new, just to kind of clarify. Now, one thing I do want to mention, though, is Intel did have a catalyst this morning, and it was on our Trader TV watch list. Both Neil and Sean mentioning it earlier today as well. SoftBank-backed SAI memory teaming up here with Intel. So there is a SoftBank-related catalyst for INTC this morning. That's going to be a new high-capacity, high-bandwidth, low-power memory technology they're going to be making together, and that's going to be aimed at AI data centers. The company's planning to deliver prototypes by the end of fiscal year 2028. Commercialization targeted for fiscal 2029. So this is a longer-term plan, but nice look there for INTC. That is some news that we had pre-market on this stock. And furthermore, Lip Bhutan, of course, commenting on GPUs. Maybe we'll get them at some point from INTC. Now, we know he's never really been a foundry man. He's made that quite clear, even just the fact that he, at least initially anyway, so we're going to have to wait and see how things happen there. I think, obviously, you're going to have to adapt and take that path. But we know initially he was diametrically opposed to what former CEO and his predecessor, Pat Gelsinger, was doing in the role, specifically with foundry. We actually heard reports that was why he left the Intel board just a couple months before Gelsinger left, and then, of course, Lip Bhutan was appointed. So interesting notes there for INTC, just a little bit of food for thought, and today's catalyst. Back to you.
Yeah, go ahead, Sia.
We have gold and silver. Volatility has definitely been elevated after the sell-off. The precious metals have rebounded sharply after suffering one of the most extreme sell-offs in decades, and this especially affected silver. Gold nearly fell 10% on Friday, and silver increased collapsed roughly 30% in a single session, which has been the worst single-day drop since 1980. And spot gold rebounded 5.5% to $4,921 per ounce, while U.S. gold futures gained 6% to around $4,936. Spot silver also surged 9% to $86.7, while silver futures up as much as 12%. Key factors included a U.S. dollar rebound and shifts in Fed leadership expectations, as well as aggressive position trimming into the weekend.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about this. I'm kind of sick of talking about why these things are moving up and down. All right, Kevin Warsh comes in, they move down. We have geopolitical tensions, they move up. I mean, I don't have much more to say on this. Do you?
No, what can we really say? Like, again, we just look at things from a technical standpoint, and we go on this absolute monster run, and then sure enough, you get rug pull where you're down approximately 30% in a single trading session. Whether it's up or down, it could be anything, Sharif. I think it was just timing as well, too. Warsh coming into play was just the spark that lit the fire at the end of the day. The market would have found something. I think Neil could agree with me on that front. I heard him talking about that, and I totally agree. It just needed something in order for it to sell. Geopolitical tensions. Well, guess what? There's always some form of geopolitical tension, Sharif. We're not going to go a day without hearing something going on in this world. Yeah, you get the new Fed chair announcement. I get it. I understand. But it was just the spark that lit the fire. And then that's why you've seen that hefty pullback in SLV, down 31%. If you go to those lows, you're down 38%. It just needed a little push to shove it over the edge, and that was it.
All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Next up, we have Oracle. Oracle's 5-year credit default swap CDS fell 17%, reflecting growing confidence that the company can fund its AI expansion without triggering a credit downgrade. And Oracle is planning to raise $45 to $50 billion in a mix of debt and equity in 2026 to expand data center capacity and meet contracted AI cloud demand. The funding also supports demand from major AI customers, including Nvidia, Meta, OpenAI, and Elon Musk's xAI.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Obviously, it's not reflected in the price action. Oracle down another 4.5%. But credit default swaps, you know, if in case you missed the great financial crisis, if something happens that's negative to a position that you're in, these act as a hedge. And so the price goes up and down based upon the likelihood or unlikelihood of something happening. So they fell 17%, which tells the market that, you know, they're unlikely to be able to meet some of these funding for the AI expansions without triggering a credit downgrade. That's all I take from this. CDSs are one sort of variable to look in a very big analysis. I need to see more from Oracle. I need to see proof that they're able to kind of capture some of that RPO that they were talking so highly about. The only way they're going to capture any of that RPO is by continuing to build. The only way they continue to build is they got to have the money. So we're kind of in a situation right now where we haven't seen anything new or realized anything new until we see more, which is going to probably take another year or so until this gets updated. But my concern always is, sure, you had demand for certain compute at one point in time when you reported the RPO. Do you continue to have that demand? Is there going to be the same economic conditions, whether with AI or whatever, possibly kind of fading out as a bit of a play at that time? So if you have demand vis-a-vis RPO, let's just say mid-25, comes out in late 26 that you build up the data centers to be able to meet that demand. Is the economic climate, is the AI trade still the same at that time? That's the risk.
No, probably not, Sharif. And I talk about the cooling of the trade. I mean, it can go on for a couple more years, but it's not going to continue to grow at the same pace that it's been at. You'll have it come in waves, right? It's hot, it's cooling down, it's hot, it's cooling down. And sure enough, here with Oracle, you're down 56%. Like, this was unnecessary, if you ask me. This massive gap up from $242 all the way up to $342 in a span of one day, and then you give back the majority of that. The stock has been cut in more than half in the past. Again, it's tough to look. 146 days, 100 bars, so a lot going on there. It's not a good look in Oracle. The demand, by the time they get all this infrastructure built out, it may not be there, but they need to do it because they have obligations. It is now 2 o'clock. It's past 2 o'clock, but what we will do, Sharif, before we turn it off to the big boys, is a quick trade review. We're still short SLV, guys. We take